What up, nerds? It is I,
Thank
Ruben, with
you.
Nerd Space Games, here to host the most insane, craziest March Madness theme horror game bracket tournament. That is one hell of a name. I'm really excited about this, guys. I am so hyped about this horror game tournament. I know a lot of you guys watching this are probably Resident Evil fans, and you know this could go one way where we just see Resident Evil dominating this poll. But you know what? I don't care. I think it's something that's been needing to happen on the channel. It's something that I've been thinking about since I started Nerd Space Games. I'm like, I would love to see a March Madness themed horror game like tournament bracket and just have people voting on which horror game should move on to the next round. And this is what we're doing. This is exactly what this stream is all about. We're going to reveal the bracket. It's 128 horror games on this bracket. So there's a lot of different horror games on this bracket from all different kinds of subgenres out there, and it's going to be insane. I have some content creators I'm going to introduce in just a second to help me kind of like predict which horror game we think is going to win each bracket. We're going to reveal the bracket. We're going to go over the preliminaries. We're going to talk a lot today. We're probably going to spend about an hour, maybe 2 hours tops, just having a lot of fun with you guys, having a lot of fun with this bracket. And then starting tomorrow, I'm going to start posting this every 12 hours. There's going to be a new poll for each of these matchups, and you guys are going to vote here on this channel, Nerd Space Games. You're going to vote on which of these horror games you think should move on to the next round of the tournament. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. For the record, I'm going to be posting these polls, or try to be posting these polls at like 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern time. So that's going to be 12 hours apiece. Each poll is going to go on for about 24 hours. So you'll have 24 hours to vote in each of these polls. So there's a lot to dive into. Real quick, I just want to say thank you, Ali Liz, for the Tree 50 super chat. One of my favorite numbers in the entire world. You know why. And there's a lot of people in chat. We'll start interacting with you guys in just a little bit, but I think first we need to introduce the iconic horror game creators on today's stream. I'm so excited to have each of these guys here. I really am. So we're gonna start with someone that I've actually collaborated. Actually, I've collaborated with all these people before, but someone that I've recently started talking more and more to, and I'm really excited to have him on board. We're gonna start with Under the Mayo. What up, dude? Nice. And by the way, chat, I think I got the audio good for each of these creators. If you want to let me know if everyone's too low, too high, let me know, and I'll go ahead and change that up. But Under the Mayo, before we move on to the other creators, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you at? That works. Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to Under the Mayo's channel. Phenomenal channel. One of the first channels I started watching when I first jumped on YouTube before I was even a creator. So it's a huge honor to have this dude here. Like, big honor, man. Thank you for being here. I forgot to unmute the chat. Oh my god, I muted you guys and I forgot. You know what? This was on purpose. I wanted this to be all about me. So hold on, I'll get you guys unmuted now. All right, so let's try this again. Hey, Under the Mayo, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and where people can find you? Because you had a great joke that definitely a lot of people didn't get to hear.
Test run.
Well, I mean, the joke, I'm gonna let that one go. Yeah, hi, I'm Under the Mayo. Thanks for joining. Thanks for asking me to join you. I don't know what else to say. I just said that I kind of stayed away from looking at the list so I could be a little more spontaneous. That might be a little more entertaining. And yeah, let's hope people don't get too upset. Here we go.
Cool. So I'm assuming you guys can hear him now, so it should be fine. So let's move on to one of our other guests, another creator this creator I've actually been collabing, since I've been a creator myself. Played a bunch of streams with him. Been playing a lot of Resident Evil. Any co-op Resident Evil game I've been playing with him. It is Conjure Lion. Conjure Lion, how are you doing, my friend?
Yo, how's it going, everyone? Thank you guys for having me. Highly appreciate you guys. Hope you guys are having an amazing day.
Nice. Do you want to let everybody know where they can find you?
Just search up Conjured Lion. Half of you already know who I am, but yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah, we share a pretty similar community. Moving on to another creator that I recently had the pleasure of meeting. Very excited to have them here. And actually, I've collaborated with them on a video recently. A couple days ago, I think it went up. About 2 days it went live. Went live really late at night, by the way. Completely caught me off guard. But yes, I'm really excited to have Better Than Starlight here.
Hello. I got the video out as soon as I could, dude. I swear. But I'm Better Than Starlight. I make ranking videos, mostly based around Resident Evil, sometimes other horror games, and COD Zombies and Tomb Raider when I feel like destroying my algorithm.
Nice.
That's pretty much it.
Facts. Okay, cool. So we do have someone else that should be joining us later on. We'll get them introduced once they're just going to join the call, probably randomly. So we'll get them introduced once they join us. But yeah. So we have a lot to talk about, so we're not going to waste any time. We're just going to jump straight into it. We are going to interact with you, chat. We're going to probably speed through a couple of matchups and then go back to you guys to see what you guys are saying. So we are going to try to interact with you as much as possible, but we're also trying to keep we're also trying to really keep this stream under 2 hours. 1 to 2 hours is kind of like the sweet spot. So you might see us not being able to interact with you guys as much as I normally do. Just be warned. But anyways, before we go to the bracket, before I reveal what the bracket looks like, I do want to talk about something that we did, or something I did before we created this bracket, and that is we did a oh my god, I can't talk. Preliminary poll where we went ahead and put remakes versus originals, because I didn't want the poll to be filled. I didn't want the bracket to be filled with a bunch of same games. I don't want Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 2 remake and the Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 4 remake. So we did a lot of preliminaries. And the remakes dominated the polls, guys. I mean, I don't know if it was recency bias or if it was just, maybe modern gamers just play the remakes more, or if the controls are just better for gamers nowadays. So I guess I want to go to each of you and get your own opinion about why do you think the remakes dominated. I think the only remake that lost was Resident Evil 3 remake. Silent Hill 2 remake, Resident Evil 2 remake, Resident Evil 4 remake. All the remakes won the poll, except for Resident Evil 3 remake, which I don't think is that shocking to any of us. So I guess I want to hear from each of you guys about what you guys think. What do you think happened, and do you agree with those poll decisions? I guess let's start with Conjure Lion first.
Well, obviously I'm an old head, so I'm gonna pick the OGs over the newer games, but I think it's really a combination of recent bias and a combination of a lot of new players coming in that never played the older games, that are just now coming in playing the older games as well, whatever the situation may be. But that's my opinion, of course, but I really do think there's a lot of more new players out now than ever before, so it's kind of expected in a way.
Yeah, no, I get that. Better Starlight, anything you want to add?
Besides tank controls being a huge barrier for some people, honestly, Conjured summed it up pretty well.
All right, cool. And what about you, Mayo? Anything you want to add to that?
Sure, recency bias, but there's also just a lot more people playing games now.
True.
And those games sold really well. A lot of people played them. They're fresh on people's memory, and I mean, people have all kinds of opinions on whether they like these remakes or not. But I mean, a lot of them are really, really well made. A lot of them are still really fun, even if you love the originals with all your heart. And so I think there's, for me, it's honestly not that surprising.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm heartbroken, not surprised. There's some originals I love, specifically Resident Evil 2. Actually, that's a good topic. So I'll go first. Out of all the remakes versus original games, is there any game that you're disappointed that the remake made it over the original, and that you wish that the original was actually on this poll instead of the remake? For me, it's Resident Evil 2. I'm a huge fan of the OG RE2. Don't get me wrong, the remake of Resident Evil 2 is fantastic. It's phenomenal. But I mean, God, that soundtrack of that original game, the backtracking, there's so much I loved about that original Resident Evil 2. That it breaks my heart to see that we're doing the best horror game poll, and my favorite horror game is not even on this poll. So that's devastating. Not gonna lie. What about you guys? Is there any game out of the remakes versus the originals? Is there any remake that you're really sad didn't make it onto the poll? Or sorry, any originals?
original Resident Evil 4 should have been on here over the remake. And I say that as somebody that prefers Resident Evil 4 remake over the original.
Trying to get
The
the chat to
original
come at you.
is so innovative and important to just gaming as a whole that I feel like it should have been on here. But
I can agree
that's
with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Even though I also prefer the remake just on a gameplay level.
Yeah.
me too.
But wait, I didn't look at the list entirely. Is the Silent Hill 2 remake on here over the original?
It is, yes.
No!
Is it too late for me to back out of this?
No. You're here.
Okay, well, you have my answer.
But there you go. Silent Hill 2.
Hold on, I need to go to the bathroom. I think I'm gonna have diarrhea.
It goes to the bathroom
God.
for 3 hours.
I love the remake. I love the Silent Hill 2 remake. What about? Go ahead.
It's fine. I was gonna say I have nothing against anybody who likes the remake of Silent Hill 2. Great, fantastic. But I'm not here for it.
Oh my god. Okay. I think Conjure, did you say your answer already? I don't know if any.
I'm kind of sad that 2 and 4 was cut out. Due
Yeah.
to the, 2 first, because I don't know why it's more acceptable for some of the things in 2 to be cut out, but 3 is
Yeah.
like, not
Preach it
acceptable.
from the
Doesn't make sense.
rooftops.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just the thing.
Yeah, RE2 breaks me.
And the music, of course.
I literally created this bracket. So excited to see Resident Evil 2 OG getting a chance to be on here, and then got eliminated before the tournament even began. So, yeah, I'm definitely heartbroken. It is what it is, though. I did things as fair as possible. Anyways, so we're gonna reveal the bracket here in just a second. Before I do, I want to go over how the bracket was set up. So I didn't want to just randomize all these games and just put them into the tournament, although that probably would have been fun because it probably would have created some insane matchups in the first round. But what I wanted to do, I want to kind of do it very similar to March Madness, where it's going to be seed base. And what I based for the seeding, and I know this isn't a great, accurate way of doing things, it was just the most fair way I can think of. We went ahead and created the seeds for each of these horror games on this poll. They're based off of their Metacritic scores. They're the critic score specifically. So their Metacritic score is what actually decide where they ended up in terms of their seed, and then the rest is just input into like a normal March Madness. Like, for example, seed 1 would go up against the worst seed, which is 128, and they will go up against each other and so on. So that's how this tournament was created. So it's going to be based off of their Metacritic scores. There's a couple of mistakes I made here off the top of my head. The Last of Us, the first game, I grabbed the score for The Last of Us Part 1 instead of the PlayStation 3 The Last of Us, which was a lot higher. So The Last of Us is seed 30, when in actuality, it's like supposed to be like a top 5 seed. So there are some mistakes on here, but for the most part, they're all based off of their Metacritic scores. And yeah, so I know you guys have been waiting to see what the bracket's going to look like. You guys are ready to see the matchups. You already see the thumbnail, so you know what one matchup is going to be. We'll talk about that later on. It's probably going to be the most insane matchup of round 1. So I'm really excited to get the opinions from the creators and the chat on that specific matchup. But without further ado, let's go ahead and switch to the bracket, and we will reveal it right now. There you go, guys. So we have the bracket on the screen. So as I said, this is going to be 128 horror games, which means in the first round alone, there's going to be 64 matchups. It's going to be insane, guys. It's going to be crazy. Like I said, you're going to vote on these games every single day, and we're going to narrow this down until there's just one horror game. And, at least from the Nerd Space game side of things, it's going to be considered the best horror game of all time, according to the Nerd Space community. Obviously, this is just all fun and games, but I'm really excited to get some opinions about each of these matchups. We're going to be talking to the creators about which ones we think we should move on. You guys can have some fun in the chat. We can talk in the chat about which games you guys think should move on into the next round, and we're actually going to be focusing on the entire round 1. So before we get started, Mayo, Conjured, Better and Starlight, do you guys have any questions before we start breaking down this list?
No.
I do not.
No, I'm good.
All right, so we're gonna go straight to it. So we're gonna start with the first matchup, seed 1 versus 128. BioShock versus Fear to Fathom. Now, this is Fear to Fathom is including all the Fear to Fathom games, mainly because I've never played any of them. and I saw like I got a lot of different opinions about which one should have been on this list. So I decided just to lump them all together. So they're short horror games. I don't know much about them. I'm going to have Conderline talk a little bit about the Fear to Fathom games because you're the one that really pushed for this game to be on this list. So go ahead and explain a little bit about Fear to Fathom.
So,
To
Fears
me.
to Fathom is actually a series of horror games that's actually presented by people who actually write stories and present them to like the creators. So he basically picks out like short stories they read and just makes them into games. That's basically the Fears to Fathom. They're great games. They're like about an hour or two long each. They're really short games. There are 5 total. That's pretty much it when it comes to Fears to Fathom.
Nice. And I guess we'll just stick with you first. So BioShock, what do you think about BioShock? And then which one of these 2 games would you like to see move forward?
The thing about this is I have more of a memory with Fears to Fathom because I played it recently over BioShock, but honestly, I'd still pick BioShock because it's just BioShock, man. Like, oh my god. The first one was amazing. I enjoyed Infinite more personally, but I did like BioShock 2 more than 1, I should say. But I'd still pick BioShock either way.
Cool. Nice, dude. Yeah, BioShock is the highest rated game according to Metacritic, or highest rated horror game. Sorry, highest rated horror game according to Metacritic. So that's pretty crazy. I never realized that until I started making this list.
Makes sense.
So let's actually go to you next, Better than Starlight. Let me know what you think about each of these games. If you played both of them, and if so, which one would you like to see move forward?
I've played one of the Fears to Fathom games, and it was not my kind of vibe for horror games. I'm not very much a walking simulator type enjoyer. Whereas Bioshock is one of my favorite games ever made, so this is a hydrogen bomb coffin baby situation for me.
Gotcha. All right. And Under the Mayo, what do you got?
If I'm not super familiar with either of them, should I just abstain?
I mean, if you
I-
know
I don't-
anything, if you had to pick one, you could throw one out there. If
I mean,
you
I
don't know
guess I
anything about either,
I don't
thing.
know. This is the first time I've ever heard of Fear to Fathom. I'm sorry.
I've
And
never played it, so I'm with you.
I've only played a little bit of BioShock, and it was like back in the time when I'm playing on a PS3 and it's a controller, and I don't like playing shooters with controllers. And
Bioshock is way better on keyboard and mouse.
yeah, I imagine it is, and I need to give it that chance, and I want to. It's like it's on the list, it's on the list of 100 things I need to play. I rented it twice, just trying to get into it, and I couldn't do it with the controller. It was just it was a time of my life, and I couldn't really get in the headspace for it. But I'll go ahead and give it to BioShock just by default.
Okay, cool. So I'm in the same department. I've never played Fear to Fathom, so I really can't comment much on that franchise. I know Conjured loves it, but BioShock is BioShock. I mean, it's the number one highest rated horror game for a reason. So I really can't and I just played BioShock recently. I played it yesterday actually on stream. So
the story of that game is so good. It's one of the best twists in a game ever. I won't spoil it because I don't want to ruin it for Mayo or anyone in chat, but oh my god, so good.
No,
I still think
BioShock.
about that twist.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, for sure. All right, so I think we're on agreement. BioShock is what we think we should move on. So let's go to the next round, or the next matchup. It's going to be Little Nightmares versus Five Nights at Freddy's. Who wants to take this one on first? Any volunteers?
Oh no.
I'll go first. Okay. So I'm not a FNAF fan, guys. I'm really not. It's not for me. No offense to anybody that is FNAF fans. All the power to you guys. FNAF is not something for me. I've also have yet to play Little Nightmares though. So I don't know much about either of these. Little Nightmares is something I have been wanting to get around to playing. I want to get around to playing both of those because Reanima looks great. Little Nightmares 3 looks great. So I want to start getting into these horror platformers. So maybe because Little Nightmares just looks more interesting to me from the cosmetic side of things, I'll probably go Little Nightmares. Who wants to go next?
I can go next. I think Little Nightmares does deserve it more in a gameplay standpoint. But man, Five Nights just has the bigger iconism out of the two, to be honest. So I don't know. I mean, I give it a Little Nightmares, to be honest, if anything. But
yeah. I feel like FNAF is going to
Nights.
dominate. FNAF is probably going to dominate the poll, honestly. But I'm rooting for Little Nightmares. You got this, little guy.
I'll go for Little Nightmares as well. I've never played a Five Nights at Freddy's game, but I mean, I'm sure they have some scary stuff. In it. I'm not gonna judge, but I'll go to Little Nightmares.
All right. Real quick, thank you so much, Ethan, for the 5 gifted memberships, man.
Hey.
Appreciate that, dude. You are a legend. You Better Starlight, did you give your answer yet?
No, but
All
all
right.
I want to say is I think Little Nightmares, if we're just talking about just the game, is a better game. But FNAF really does deserve credit for kind of rewriting the book on how to tell a story in a horror game through environmental stuff, which I don't know how popular it was before this, but I had only ever really seen that in like COD Zombies and the old COD Zombies games, where it's like you just pick up random info from the map in the
Yeah.
game and piece it together. It's really good until it's not later. But
Word.
I do think it deserves credit for that, but otherwise I think Little Nightmares clears.
All right, cool. Seems like chat is really on the same page as us for the last 2 games. Looks like chat's mainly agreeing on BioShock and Little Nightmares. I saw some people throwing some love towards Fear to Fathom, mainly because of you, Conjure, because I know they watch your streams a bit. But yeah, so far it seems that chat's with us on the same page on both of these matchups. So let's go to the first Resident Evil game to be featured in the tournament. Resident Evil Village versus Dead Island. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
My.
Who just started laughing?
This
Who started
is not
laughing?
close
That's
at
who,
all.
Oh,
This is
Lord.
not close at all.
who's the first one that started laughing? Because that's who I want to go to first.
I think Mayo started laughing first.
May, all right, May, you're
Sorry.
going first, dude.
That is not a performative laugh either. I did.
No, that's insane.
I didn't see that coming.
All right. What
All
are your thoughts here, Mayo? Have you played both of these games, and which one do you think's gonna move on?
I will vote for the destruction of the entire human race over Village. Whatever it is against Village wins. So Dead Island.
All right. Damn, the shade towards Village. I love it though.
Worst Resident Evil game. Worse than
Ooh.
6. Worse than the 3 remake.
Oh my god.
The most worrying direction that Resident Evil has ever taken.
I didn't know this was gonna be a controversial stream, and
I
it
love the
seems
chaotic,
like
chaotic energy. Yes.
I listen.
Yes.
I'm with you.
Hey,
Village is nowhere near the best Resident Evil game.
You knew
Nowhere
what you,
near.
you knew what you were getting when you invited me to this.
Oh my god. Listen, I don't love Village. I really don't. You guys in the chat know, if you see my rankings on the franchise, Village is, I think, like the 3rd worst the franchise for me. I don't think I hate it as much as Mayo here. I definitely would take it over RE6. I wouldn't take it over RE3 remake. I'm a huge defender of RE3
RE6
remake.
clears this game.
Nah, fuck that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, just the piano puzzle alone. Just that. Ignore everything else in the game. Just the piano puzzle, where you can literally just mash the
Brute force
keys.
it.
Just mash every key, and it will just autocomplete. That puzzle alone makes it the worst Resident Evil game.
You don't like the basement puzzle, like the escape room ish type of puzzle in House Beneviento?
Thank you.
It's
That was
so
a decent
scripted that there's no
like,
tension.
At least you had to figure it out, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
not saying every puzzle is the piano puzzle,
Yeah.
but the piano puzzle alone and the fake exploration of the castle, where they make you think that you're exploring like a classic mansion map, but really you're just walking in a straight
And then it's
line.
the most linear area of the game.
Yeah, it's just a straight line where
It
you just
pisses
come
me
across.
off.
You just come across every object is just given to
You
you.
guys are killing me right now.
It oh my god, Village is so bad.
All right. Before we go back to these
Yeah.
guys, I want to give a quick shout out to Ethan again. He just came out with another, or this time a super chat, a tree 50 super chat. My favorite number in the
Yo.
world. South Park reference there, guys. And he says, please ask Conjured about the blood bucket. Yeah, I saw the
Oh
short. I
my
know all about the
God.
blood bucket. So,
What?
you got issues, my dude. You're better than that.
Oh my god. You don't speak of that.
Yeah. Let's say, for those that don't know, Conjure was stuck on Silent Hill 3 for probably the longest time in the world because
Oh,
he
okay.
couldn't angle himself correctly to find the blood bucket. to move on in the game.
Honestly, understandable.
Okay, so yeah, so we have Mayo's opinion on that. I guess I'll go next just because I'm probably on the opposite side of things. I'm gonna take Village. I know Mayo here is going to probably leave this call and probably never talk to me again, but I don't hate Village nearly as much as Mayo here. I think there's actually some things I actually like the story Village. I think Ethan Winters is much better in Village compared to RE7. So there are some things I really appreciate about Village. Do I think it's the best Resident Evil game? No, far from it. But I still rather replay Village than play Dead Island. I hate Dead Island with a passion. I do not like Dead Island. It's not for me. So who's up next?
Can I go next?
Me
or Contra can take it?
Oh, go for it.
I think I pick Dead Island over Village.
Okay.
I feel like it has just a better replayability than Village does. I find myself playing Village at least once every like 8 months or something like that.
Nice.
It's not a game I need to replay. It's not a game that I don't know. I just can't. 7 and 8 are two games that I can't. It's really hard for me to go back to be honest.
Cool. So real quick, guys, we just had someone else join podcast. You there, man?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Sure. I am going to mess with your audio a little bit, though.
Okay.
There we go. Talking in for me, man.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast now. Joining.
All right, nice. Yeah, so you just tune in. We're right now. If you want to bring in my stream, you can bring in my stream and look it up that way.
Yeah. Which number are we on? What controversy are we on now?
We actually haven't got that far, but it's already getting pretty heated in here. We got Village versus Dead Island right now. So let me go to Better Starlight, and then we'll go to you on Village and Dead Island. So Starlight, go ahead. Which one would you go? Village versus Dead Island?
Dead Island easily, and I don't even like Dead Island.
I like this guy. I like this guy. Who is he?
I don't like. Why am I here?
Village has the worst story of a Resident Evil game. Ethan's arc carries this game on his horrifically broken back, and Ethan is still a little bit of a dry character. He's much better in this game, but he's still not quite where he should be. They waste every single enemy. The weapon balancing and progression is horrible. The open world elements stress me out when combined with the Resident Evil 9's open world leaks. It makes me want to like dive into a pool of bleach. I hate everything about this game. I don't like it.
Jesus Christ, guys.
Let's go.
I swear to God, I did not expect to be in the minority this early in the tournament. Like, we're on the third matchup, and here I am. Feel like I'm getting beat down. Podcast. Well, first off, tell everybody who you are, where they can find you, and what your channel's about, and then we'll get your opinion on this.
Yeah. So podcast now. I got too many channels. I got 3 of them, but just podcast now on YouTube's the main one. Pleasure to be here. Do gaming. Do kind of a little bit of pretty much any game under the planet, which probably hurts me in the long run, but we got quite the competition here. Let me just say, I told you privately, I think this is number 1, incredible what you're doing, and I just think it's so cool. So I heard the beginning of this controversy with Village versus Dead Island. I don't know the deeper context of who here despises Village.
It's all of them except for me, apparently. So
wow.
that's where we're at right now. Real quick, we'll have you say your opinion in just a sec. I just want to give a shout out because I totally forgot to say this. Hey, Kenneth, thank you so much for the tree 50, favorite number in the world, as you guys know, South Park reference. For the super chat, ask Conjured about the you meant Batista job? You meant barista, right?
Oh, barista,
yeah. Okay, barista job he had. Okay, I was like, Batista job. I mean, God, you becoming a wrestler, Conjured? All right, podcast. What were you saying, dude? Which one are you going with? Help me out here.
Well, this is to me, it's easy. I go Village. I don't like Dead Island. I like Dead Island 2. It actually was phenomenal and shocked me. But Dead Island, I mean, like Hoodoo Ya Voodoo in the beginning, of course, classic. The trailer of Dead Island is better than maybe anything on the entire list, right? Iconic. But besides the trailer, yeah. There's nothing. I was just never a fan. I tried Dead Island, tried Riptide. Only 2 got me. So it doesn't. I actually do like Village, like quite a bit actually. So I don't know where that ranks here, but I mean, a competition between a game I don't like and then Village. So I'll pick Village.
Cool. Chat, please back me up here. Tell me you guys are all for Village over Dead Island. Let's take down these criminals in the
I feel like
stream
this
right
should
now.
be easy. This one should be pretty easy, I think.
It's
Can I
not.
say one more
Apparently,
thing?
it's easy. According to them, they're saying that it's easy that Village should lose here. Okay, what were you gonna say?
Village does not scratch an itch that cannot be scratched by Resident Evil 4. Every other Resident Evil game has some like unique part about it that I can't get in another Resident Evil game except this one.
But what about Dead Island?
Yeah, there you go, Dead Island. I mean, it's literally
Like, what does Dead Island do?
mashing like horror game. Just run around
Dead
and just hit
Island
zombies.
has
Dead
the
Rising did it
unique
better than what Dead
setting
Island was. I
and
liked
like
it better.
the like creepy but weirdly silly vibe that Dead Island has is more unique, and I can't find that as often as I can the vibes of Village, where it's just Eastern European snowy area. I don't know.
Disagree.
That's fair. No,
We'll
that's
move
totally
on.
fine. I don't know.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to matchup number 4. Did not expect us to get to a controversial debate that early, but here we are. So we're going to number 4. Maybe I should have Village and Dead Island as a thumbnail, I guess. Number 4 is going to be Crow Country, a recent indie horror game that's been really popular for a lot of classic fans of survival horror, versus another Resident Evil game, probably one of the more underrated Resident Evil games out there, Resident Evil Outbreak. Who wants to speak up first?
Ooh.
Crow Country versus Resident Evil Outbreak. If no one else goes first, I'll go first.
I have to think about this.
Okay, yeah, this is hard for me.
Oh, this is easy for me.
Really? Okay, well, all right, let's go with you then. If you
This
think
is so I'm picking Outbreak. Outbreak has literally the best multiplayer in a Resident Evil game experience
Fair.
of all time. If you have the online, or we played the mod that time we played together, literally the best experience in RE in general.
That game by yourself is really
Horrible.
obtuse to play.
it's horrible by yourself. It's not a good single player game at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's honestly part of the reason why I'm like hesitant to pick Outbreak. Does anybody else want to go first? Because I'm still on the fence here.
I can take it.
All right.
My Resident Evil experience is different, I think, from a lot of fans, because I have stayed to the mainline series only. If it has a number on it, I've played it. If it doesn't, I haven't. I've always
Fair.
been interested in them, but I never branched out to the spinoffs, whether it be Outbreak or yeah, I couldn't even tell you what the names are of the spinoffs. That's how ignorant I am of them. So I feel bad that I have to vote against Resident Evil Outbreak, because I've heard it's great, and I know people that love it. But Crow Country was magical. It was my number 3 game of last year in my list, and it's just, I love the art style. The map design is so tight and focused, and it's just this great 4 to 5 hour experience where the whole thing is about figuring out the map and what puzzles go where. The added difficulty levels made it even better.
Yeah.
It's just so charming and creepy at the same time. There's really nothing like Crow Country, and so I have to.
Word. I feel that. I guess I'll go next. I feel like I have my answer now. So I went back and forth. I love Outbreak. I love the multiplayer aspect of Outbreak, and I really, really hope that one day Capcom actually takes Outbreak and use that to make a good Resident Evil multiplayer experience. Like, I think Outbreak, maybe not a remake or even like a remaster of Outbreak, would be a lot of fun for the Resident Evil community as a whole, because I think Outbreak was far beyond its time. It was far, far beyond its time. But I gotta go Crow Country. Outbreak is just horrendous to play on single player, in my opinion. I do not like playing Outbreak on single player, and it's also it's one of those games that I really don't have fun replaying once I beat that specific scenario, at least not for a long time. Whereas Crow Country, since that game came out, I've already replayed that game like 3 times. So like, I actually like going back to that game and playing it again, because it's just a fun experience for me. Whereas Outbreak, it's fun with friends, and it's cool laughing at my boy Conjure when I played it with him. He got murdered by a bunch of crows. But
Oh, no.
that was a lot of fun to watch. But outside of that, yeah, I gotta go Crow Country for sure.
Mine's pretty anticlimactic. It's just Resident Evil Outbreak. Well, you guys are selling me now on Crow Country, but I had never experienced it or heard of it even
you
beyond
have to play it.
today.
You gotta play,
So,
man.
yeah, no. Now I gotta add it to something. So I would
Yeah.
go Resident Evil, but uneducated opinion there.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, we've been there. I mean, I think at the beginning of the list, if you want to do a quick, since we weren't that far into the tournament anyways, if you want to do a quick run through the ones that you missed, Bioshock or Fear to Fathom.
BioShock, easily.
For sure, that we were on the same page there. But most of us also haven't played Fear to Fathom, so that was part of the reason. Little Nightmares versus Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh God. I would go Little Nightmares, but yeah, I that's my gut feeling. Little Nightmares is so freaking good. That's a great match between BioShock and Little Nightmares. If those make it, that would be nuts.
Yeah,
That's
there
not
you go.
crazy.
We'll talk about round 2 whenever we get there. In a future stream. Okay. I think Better in Starlight. You were the last one, right?
I think I have to give this to Crow Country. Just
Okay.
because Outbreak is miserable to play by yourself. If Outbreak was balanced better solo, I would give it to Outbreak though.
Got it. Cool. Everybody chimed in there, right?
Yep.
Good. Different opinions. Nothing heated. Like to see it. Matchup number 5, we got Left 4 Dead 2, which I put Left 4 Dead 2 on here because Left 4 Dead 2 includes like all the campaigns of Left 4 Dead 1, so it just makes more sense to just put Left 4 Dead 2 and it counts both of them basically. So Left 4 Dead 2 versus The Impatient. Who wants to take this first?
Left 4 Dead clears. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I feel like this one's kind of easy. Left 4 Dead's like just an elite,
Right.
once in a generation type thing.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Yeah.
I don't think it's even close. Yeah, Left 4 Dead 2. I mean, I don't think we have to waste time on here.
Have a chance.
Poor
Yeah, I'll say
Impatient.
the same.
Impatient's okay. I didn't even love it, but it's okay. But you're going up against like the GOAT asymmetrical horror game of all time. Other than maybe like it's up there with Dead by Daylight, but
the guy who wrote the book on asym, like yeah.
All right. Cool. So this next one, I have a personal favorite here. I don't know if it's even considered a horror game, but I put it on here anyways. But anyways, we're going to do matchup number. Oh wait, did everybody answer Left 4 Dead? Right? Everyone Left 4 Dead. Did I miss anybody? Okay, cool.
Yep.
So matchup number 6, Danganronpa versus Outlast 2.
I love that you're doing this. Personally, I love it.
I'm a huge
Danganronpa all
Danganronpa fan.
day, and it deserves to get to like the final round. If we're being honest with ourselves.
Agreed. I could not agree with you more. Is it? It's kind of on the board of a horror game. Like there are some horror elements, but it's not really technically a horror game. I'm probably pushing the boundaries there. But I am a huge fan of Danganronpa. Podcast. I'm surprised to hear I was expecting to be the only one here to be a fan of.
No, I freaking love it. Yeah, love it. So I'm with you.
Okay, so real quick, Danganronpa is pretty much for those that don't know, it's kind of like a combination of like a visual novel versus like role-playing elements without like the gameplay side of things. It's really hard to explain. And plus elements of like dating sim in it too a little bit. But basically the concept of it is that you're pretty much like you're trapped in a school with like 15 other characters, and basically you're forced to play like this killing game. I'm not going to dive too much into it because it's a lot. But yeah, it's one of my favorite franchises of all time. I love the Danganronpa trilogy. Absolutely love it. So yeah, I'm going to 100% defend Danganronpa, even if it is going against the incredible horror walking simulator that is Outlast 2. So who wants to go next?
Can you date Japanese women in that game?
Yeah, technically. Well, I don't know. Are they Japanese?
You have
women?
like
I'll let you
relationship. It's like relation. I mean,
Yeah.
it funnels you down a path.
But are they Japanese women that you can date?
I mean,
they're very nicely drawn. It's a very
they're
good
anime
art.
characters, like I don't know if it takes place in actual like our world. I don't know. Does it? Like, are there any real locations mentioned?
Nah, I mean, it's
in
kind
the world
of it's a
Danganronpa?
fictional kind of world they created for that one. Yeah.
But you can
What do they look like? What do the girls look like though?
I mean, typical anime style visual novel.
What does that mean though? Because you could have all kinds of.
Dude, you gotta go look at pictures, man. I don't know what to tell you. Type in a Google. You know what? Let's see. Which one's my favorite?
All right. What is it? Danga. What is it?
Danganronpa. Look at the cast of Danganronpa. There you go.
Danganronpa.
There you go.
It's like honestly an elite. Like it's worth anybody playing
Yeah.
horror or not. It's a legendary game, especially the
Okay.
first
Name?
Okay, I vote for Danga.
Close enough.
I don't like walking sims, so I'm giving it to Danganronpa because even though I've never played it.
I cannot believe this
This
is
is
happening
wild.
right now. Yeah, I am shocked. I really
think
thought
I'm gonna
LS2.
pick that too. I really want to play this.
You guys
I'm
should.
bookworking this. I'm gonna play this.
You guys should.
Wait,
You
is
should.
Doki Doki Literature Club on here?
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Okay, we're good.
But yeah,
If you
Danganronpa.
think that game's wild, Danganronpa is at times more wild.
It's phenomenal.
Oh, I'm buying this game right now because you
Yeah.
said that.
I'm
not even
telling you
kidding.
right now, but get the whole trilogy. The second one's probably my favorite, but they're
That one's
all
really good. Yeah.
I
They're
just
all
bought the
phenomenal.
Mortal Kombat skins in Fortnite. I can't splurge that hard. I'll buy one of them.
All right, it's a phenomenal game. It's part of the inspiration why I did my second channel, Fantasy Kingdom, on JRPGs. Even though it's not technically JRPG, because I want to start covering Danganronpa and stuff. I'm such a huge fan of Danganronpa. That and Kingdom Hearts, obviously, but
There we go.
word. Okay, so we're shockingly all on the same page for Danganronpa over LS2. The chat does not agree at all. I think I've pretty much seen every single one of the
Sorry,
people in the
chat.
chat go
Man, just
LS2.
Outlast 2. I actually really love Outlast 2, and I think the school sections. I'm also kind of a baby with certain kinds of horror, but I really did like Outlast 2. It's a great. It's just going up against a legend. I don't know what else to say.
I agree.
I'm biased against walking sims. That's my problem.
Damn. Oh,
Sorry, everyone.
I do have to point out there is one thing I did not include on this list, and you guys will probably notice as we're going through here. I did not include PT because I don't consider it a game.
You know
so
what? That's fair.
Don't come at me, chat. I know some of you
That's
guys
fine.
would love some PT, but I think it's worth mentioning that PT is not on here. There is a game heavily inspired by PT on here that we'll talk about later. But okay,
Oh,
so
look
moving
at which one?
on. So we're gonna go with the next round. This is really fucking hard for me. I love both of these next games. So we're in matchup number 7, guys. It is the Walking Dead Telltale series versus Rural Rose. This one's really hard for me. Because it pretty much it comes down to story versus classic survival horror for me. I guess I'll start off by asking, have any of you guys played both of these games before?
This
I
just
jump in here?
unlocked a memory for me. I played this game and I completely forgot what it was called, and I've been trying to figure it out for years. Oh my god.
Wait, what happened?
I played this game when I was a kid, and I couldn't remember the name of it.
Wait, which
And
game?
I just looked
Danganronpa?
it up, and this is the game. No, Rule of Rose.
Oh, Rural Rose. Oh yeah, Rural Rose, phenomenal.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I'm glad this
Sorry.
tournament did something beneficial for you.
I just derailed completely. I'm sorry, but that just like threw me.
No, you're good. You know, that's what this tournament's here for, to bring back good memories, I guess. That's what we're here for. We're good people. But yeah, so so you guys have all played both games, or have either of you guys
I haven't
not
played
played?
Ruler Rose, but I'm watching it right now. Looks
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
Tengu Mushi has a really good video on that.
There you go. Check it out.
I will check it out.
Okay, so I guess I'll go first, and then we'll go down the line. So, like I said, this is one of the harder matchups for me. Rural Rose is a criminally underrated horror game that kind of got screwed over because of I forgot what was it. It wasn't plagiarism. It was what was the issue with Rural Rose? It had something to do. I guess the context of the game itself got it banned in certain countries. May you might know a little bit more about this.
Hey.
Maybe. Either way, it was criminally underrated. It got like a lot of heat that it shouldn't have got, and unfortunately does not get enough credit as it deserves. But it's one of the better classic survival horror games inspired by like games like Resident Evil, and I highly recommend it. That being said, I love me the story of the Telltale series. Clementine is one of my favorite horror game characters of all time. I think I'm actually going to go The Walking Dead for that reason, just because I'm a huge Clementine fan.
I'm with you.
Who wants to take it next?
Yeah,
Is that your
pretty
answer?
much
You're
same.
gonna
I
go The
haven't
Walking Dead?
played, Yeah, I haven't played Rule of Rose.
You gotta play
It
it.
looks really good, so now I'm gonna bookmark that, just like you guys did dang around. But yeah, I mean, Walking Dead Legend, even the weaker seasons like season 3, not so great, but also not bad. I mean, I will actually heavily defend season 3, and I really like 4. Season 2 is actually really awesome. I think oftentimes forgotten, and then obviously season 1's like one of the greatest ever created. So yeah, that's easy. But you know what? I'm gonna look into this Rule of Rose thing.
You should, especially if you like classic survival horror, for sure. Anybody else? Better than Starlight, do you have anything you want to add there?
I haven't played Walking Dead Telltale series, so I have to pick Rule of Rose by default.
I'm bitter. I cannot believe you said that, dude. You gotta play it.
Sorry.
At least play season 1. You gotta at least play season 1. I think season 1 is like a masterpiece.
I know.
What about you, Mayo?
I have to abstain. I don't know either game.
Fair. Totally fair. Definitely, I think you, Mayo, will probably like Rule of Rose. Based on some of your personal tastes, I think you would love Rule of Rose.
Yeah,
I don't think
will like it.
I'd love to play it.
Definitely give it a try. All right, moving on to matchup number 8. We got Hellblade. This is the first one. I think it's Senua Sacrifice. Is that how you say her name? Senua Sacrifice?
Senua.
All right, there we go. Clearly, I'm not a big Hellblade fan, and I'll go over that in just a reason in just a moment. Versus Madison. Specifically, I think the VR version of Madison is much better. If it's the game I'm thinking of. It's been a while since I played Madison. But go ahead. Hellblade versus Madison. Does anybody have any personal opinions here?
I haven't played Madison, but I hated Hellblade of how repetitive it was.
Wow.
I hated Hellblade.
I knew podcast was gonna be upset about that.
Yes.
I haven't
think-
played these. I'm abstaining.
Sorry.
You guys have fun.
Well, let me make it easy for you, Starlight. Madison's pretty much a horror walking simulator, and apparently you have a grudge against those type of games. So that would probably make you want to lean towards Hellblade just for that.
I've seen gameplay of Hellblade. I think I'm good on both.
Fair. Madison's fantastic, though. I love Madison. Obviously, that's my answer is Madison. Hellblade's, I love the story, the psychological horror story. I love the inner. I'm trying to think of the right term, like the right words I'm trying to think of here, like the between the lines story time. Well, that, but like I like the storyline that you have to look in between the lines to kind of like identify. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to spoil anything, but you have to really. It makes you think a lot. And I like that.
Yeah, everything's kind of based off themes and stuff. So yeah, you gotta be paying attention. Yeah, no, I would heavily defade. I would heavily back Hellblade on this one. Just the combat is okay. The visual jump between 1 and 2 is nuts, but the first one's story and just horror has something in common with you put on the headphones and it kind of is just different than most games, and that's also Hellblade. Like you play Hellblade with headset on, and you can't really find another game that's gonna give you the same experience. So I feel like just that alone would do it.
Fair. Maybe do you have anything to add here?
No, I don't.
All right. So I agree with everything you just said, podcast, but I still go Madison.
That's fair.
All right. I think I got to everybody there, right? Contra, did you say anything there?
For Hellblade and Madison? Oh, I picked Madison.
Okay,
over
just want to make sure.
because I did not like Hellblade, yeah.
Cool. Word. That's what I thought. All right. Matchup number 9. We got Resident Evil 2. All right. So you weren't here for this podcast. I did preliminaries for remakes versus originals. You're only going to see one version of each game on here. Either the remake or the original is going to be on here. And in every single instance, except for one, and we'll talk about that one instance when we get there, in every single instance, the remake actually beat the original. So it's going to be Resident Evil 2 remake versus Kadeka, sorry.
Okay.
So obviously I don't really need to talk about Resident Evil 2 remake. I'm sure we all know what Resident Evil 2 remake is. Kadeka is a horror RPG, turn-based RPG that inspired the Shadow Hearts series. And I will probably just leave it at that. Does anybody have anything they want to say here? For me, I'm going to go I'm not going to waste any time. Resident Evil 2 remake. I'd much rather see Resident Evil 2 OG here. I'm a huge fan of the original Resident Evil 2. But since the remake is the one that made it here, I'll go RE2 remake. Does anybody else want to chime in here?
I mean, shouldn't you put an R next to anything that is a remake?
I should have, honestly, and I probably still could. Let me see if I can still edit it.
Yeah. You could put the year too.
No, I don't think I can edit it. It's whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, the polls themselves, I'm gonna type it out. So the polls themselves are going to have remake in
Okay,
it.
cool.
But yeah, for the actual bracket here, since I already made it, it won't let me edit it. So yeah,
all right.
in hindsight, I should have done that.
Well, I'll go. I don't know the other game, but Resident Evil 2 Remake is probably my number 3 favorite Resident Evil game of all time. So I'm gonna go with that for sure.
Got me curious now. All right, who's next?
I picked the same, yeah, RE2 remake, just because I haven't played Kodeka.
It's fair.
Same.
Yes, same.
Yeah, I don't think we need to waste much time on that one. So, okay, so we'll move on to matchup number 10. By the way, I do think anybody that hasn't played Kodeko should go give it a chance if you like RPGs and horror games. It's like a perfect
I'm
matchup.
actually
Of
writing
both.
some of these games down.
Nice. Okay, so number 10 matchup is Prey versus Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Oh, wait, which Prey?
It's the newer one. Sorry, I didn't put the older one in here. So yeah, this is a pretty good matchup, except for your boy here has never played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, so I cannot really comment on that game. The chat constantly tells me to go play this game. I have not, and I want to before the second game comes out, if it ever comes out. But I am going to, because of my love and passion for Prey. I just love the mimics. I love everything about this sci-fi horror game. I got to go with Prey. I think it's RIP. Was it Arcane Austin? I think that did it. Now they're gone. RIP them. But yeah,
RIP.
I got to go Prey.
Yeah, I think it's easily Prey for me. It's just such a good game, and like you said, rest in peace, because that team is left
so talented.
Yeah. They were fantastic.
I don't know what your guys' experience with Vampire the Masquerade was, but it just did not function for me. When I tried to play it, it barely worked.
Yeah.
I've never played it,
So,
so that's a big reason why
Prey
Prey
wins by default because it actually works.
Yeah, I've never played Vampire the Masquerade. I've seen playthroughs of it, and I've seen enough to know that I probably wouldn't enjoy it. Maybe it's great. I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad, but I have a feeling.
To be fair, very different types of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Prey. I don't know if I would call Prey a horror game. Even like I just think of it. I just think of it as a sci-fi game, right? But if it's here as a horror game, I vote for it because I love it.
Yeah. I've always defended that Prey as a horror game. I know a lot of people actually feel the same way that you do, and I don't think it's even listed as a horror game. But I just think it's as much of a horror game as BioShock is, in my opinion.
Anything set in space where I can see how small I am is scary. So
fair.
It was nominated for Best Action Game.
Yeah, so was Alan Wake. So I mean,
well, you got me.
Alan Wake for Best Action Game is hilarious.
Alan Wake 2 was nominated for Best Action Adventure, I think it was.
Oh, okay, that's more
interesting. What?
So, yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
I mean, if that's nominated for, so I don't think. So Prey was nominated for
Flashlight and shoot Ghost for Best Action Game.
Whoa.
Nominated for that too. I think
In the defense, since we're jumping on this whole controversy that is the Game Awards, in the defense of it being nominated for action adventure, they don't have a horror game category for whatever reason. So like, where else are you gonna put it at?
Okay, fair enough, I guess.
They should, but they don't.
What's with awards show shafting horror? Always.
I don't know, man. It is what it is.
It's so annoying.
Damn shame.
That says Chef Keely.
Moving on, we got matchup number. Everyone commented on that, right? I don't think any of us have played Masquerade except for you, Starlight, and you said it kind of ran.
I
shitty.
played like an hour of it before I uninstalled it and never touched it ever again.
That makes me even less interested in the sequel that keeps getting delayed.
Yeah. I don't mean to put anyone off if they fix it. If they fixed it, let me know. I will try the game again.
Mm-hmm. All right, match. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
I
was just saying "but" at the end of my sentence.
Matchup number 11. I think this is gonna be a sweep here too. Matchup number 11 is Silent Hill 3 versus D2.
Destiny 2?
No.
I'm joking.
D2 was a classic sort of survival horror mix action horror type of game back on the I think it was the original PlayStation, if I'm not mistaken. Chat, you can let me know if that's true. I could be wrong. And then
Yeah, it's a
Silent Hill
PS1
3, I hope to God I don't have to explain what Silent Hill 3 is. So Silent Hill 3 versus D2, not going to waste any time here. Silent Hill 3 murders D2 in just about every single
Silent Hill
way.
3,
Yeah,
Silent
Hill
Hill
same
3,
for
3,
me.
best Silent Hill game.
arguably could be respectable opinion.
Yeah, respectable. Not right. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Uh.
I'm just messing with you.
It's my favorite for sure.
Yeah, I know Condor loves it. Okay, so we're on the same page here. Silent Hill 3.
Yep.
Okay, another underrated matchup that I'm pretty sure is going to go one way, but I'm going to go the other way. Little Nightmares 2 versus Shadow Hearts. Little Nightmares 2, same exact things I said about Little Nightmares 1, except for it's a little bit longer than the original game, and some would argue that's better than the original game. And Shadow Hearts, like I said earlier, Kadeko kind of inspired this series. It's a horror RPG. Think Parasite Eve if it was full-blown like turn-based combat with party members and stuff like that. It's probably the best way I can explain it. So Little Nightmares 2 versus Shadow Hearts. For me, I've never played the Little Nightmares series. I know, God forbid, I definitely do. I have to. I will. I promise. It's going to happen because I want to cover that in future videos. But I have played Shadow Hearts, and I'm a huge horror RPG fan. So you're going to see that come out in some of the other matchups. But I'm going to go with Shadow Hearts. I love Shadow Hearts.
I would go Little Nightmares 2 just because it's I think it's a masterpiece. Honestly, I really love it. And while 3 might not be, we got Reanimal. So yeah, no, for me this is an easy one. Little Nightmares 2.
Yeah.
I haven't played Shadow Hearts, so I have to give it to Little Nightmares 2.
Nice.
So I have not played Shadow Hearts, and I haven't played Old Nightmares 2, but I did play the first one. I'm hearing the second one is better than the first one, so
That is true.
Yeah.
I'm going for the
That's why I
second
hear
one.
too.
I'm gonna abstain. I don't know either.
It's fair. Like I said, I probably would pick Little Nightmares 2 if I played it, but I love me some
I have
Shadow
a
Hearts.
question.
Sure.
I don't know why it's specifically Shadow Hearts reminded me to ask this, but is Blood Rain 1 and 2 on here?
Blood Rain is not. Probably should have added on here.
No.
I know. Hey, listen, I sent all of you guys this bracket and told you guys to give me suggestions, and I added a lot of your suggestions. So anything that didn't make this list.
I was wondering if I should suggest it, and then I forgot to send it after deciding, and I was like, "Oh man."
Yeah, but
is Nightmare Creatures on here?
I don't think it is, and I came close.
Fuck.
I came close to putting it, but for some reason I went with Countdown Vampires instead, because I like Countdown Vampires. But yeah, Nightmare Creatures probably should have been on here as well. Listen, you guys all had this bracket. I asked for suggestions.
To make their own bracket too is the other
True.
I literally asked you guys. I said, hey, if you guys have any horror games you want to add to this, you let me know and I'll get it added. And I think I listened to most of your opinions. Any of you guys that sent me suggest like Death Stranding ended up on here. That wasn't originally on here. I'm not gonna waste so much time with this. We're already like barely through this tournament, so
Yeah.
either way, you guys had your chance to add these whatever you wanted to add to it.
True.
So, all right.
Oh, well.
Matchup number 13. 2002 remake of Resident Evil versus Iron Lung. So I've never played Iron Lung. Resident Evil 2002 remake is probably my second favorite Resident Evil game of all time. It's probably my third favorite video game of all time under Kingdom Hearts 2 and Resident Evil 2 OG. So yeah, I gotta go with the 2002 remake of Resident Evil for sure, 100%.
Same. Vote. Yeah, no question for me.
Yeah,
my favorite Resident Evil ever. So yeah.
Nice, good choice.
That is also my favorite RE ever. So yeah, 2002 for sure.
Cool. Starlight
Iron I love Iron Lung so much, but I have to pick Resident Evil 2 remake by default. This is Hydrogen Bomb Coffee Baby situation again.
Yeah, I've never played Iron Lung, so RE by default.
Yeah, isn't that the
You
one that
should.
Markiplier's like making a movie of or
Markiplier's
something
making a
like
movie
that?
about it. Yeah.
Word. Getcha. Yeah, I need to play Iron Lung. I've never played it,
That game
but
is awesome.
I highly doubt it's going to come anywhere close to Resident Evil 2002 remake. So,
Oh God, no.
no offense to Iron Lung. Moving on to matchup number 14. So I teased this earlier, but Parasite Eve 2 versus Resident Evil Revelations. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, but
Ooh.
you are not going to convince me that Revelations is better than Parasite Eve 2. I'm sorry. I
Heck no.
love Parasite
Heck
Eve
no.
2.
That's a sweep. That's a sweep.
Yeah.
That's
Parasite
a
Eve 2.
horror game RPG. Parasite Eve 2 to this day, and Parasite Eve 1 to this day are the best like horror RPGs out there. I love them both for different reasons. So Parasite Eve 2 for me, 100%. And Conjure, you said you're going Parasite Eve 2 as well?
Mm-hmm.
Same.
I'll trust you guys on that and go Parasite Eve 2.
All right. Did you play
Parasite
Revelations?
Eve
Because I know
sweep.
you didn't play a lot of the spin-offs. Did you play Revelations?
I didn't play any spin-offs.
Including Revelations?
It doesn't matter if it doesn't have a number on it. If it doesn't have a number on it, I didn't play it.
Word.
You,
Yeah.
you wouldn't like it, Mayo.
That even goes for Code Veronica, which I plan to play this year. I do. I'm gonna get to it. I want to, but
Mayo, I expect you to play
didn't.
that game next week. Like, I am disappointed to hear you haven't even touched Code Veronica yet. That is pretty much Resident Evil 4 for all intents and purposes.
I
mean,
like. I know. I get it. And there's. I want to do it. I will. It's just like I said. There's just something in my brain. It was like I played the number ones, and then all the other ones just didn't.
you know what, Mayo? I know what you
grab me
gotta
at the
do.
time.
This is what you gotta do. You gotta put Code Veronica on, and then you gotta do knife only. That's what you gotta do.
I knew you were going to say that. I should have put money on it.
Great.
Oh
I
my
had
god,
like 3
that was
people in my chat on my last video being like, "Where's the Code Veronica knife? Where's the Code Veronica knife? Nerd Space just beat this game knife only. You had him in the video, and you didn't put the Code Veronica knife in the video." And I'm like, "Come on, guys, leave me alone."
I warned you. I told you people were gonna come for your ass.
I
for
know
not
you
putting that
did.
in that
I
video.
know you did. I know.
But yeah, no, that game kicked my ass though so many times trying to do knife only. Don't recommend it honestly, but it is a really good, nice feeling when you do it. But it's also really torturous to get through. Does anybody else have anything they want to say here? Parasite Eve 2 versus Revelations. I don't think I heard your opinion, podcast.
I'm with you. I'll do Parasite Eve 2.
Cool. And Starlight, did you answer?
Parasite Eve. I
Word.
think I said it at the beginning, but never clarified.
Cool. All right, matchup number 15. So far, the chat has been on the same page of us. It's been a while since we had any disagreements, guys. I'm pretty happy right now. We're doing pretty good.
Here could be one.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. So matchup number
probably.
15 pretty much is going to be yeah, I already know how some of you guys are going to go on this one. So Devotion versus Slender the Arrival. So essentially it is horror psychological story versus horror walking simulator. One of the most
Oh God.
notable horror walking simulators actually.
Yeah.
Known for their jump scares clearly. So Devotion versus Slender the Arrival. I'm sorry, Devotion has one of the best horror game stories I've ever experienced when it came to, especially when it comes to psychological horror. Not going to ruin it. Not going to ruin the toys. Not going to ruin any of that, except for just tell you that if you like psychological horror stories that fucks with your mind, Devotion is one of those games. So I'm going to go Devotion.
Well, you're selling me on it, but I've never played it, so I got to go by default to Slender. But I also remember playing Slender. Yeah, it's I don't want to say cheap in like a negative way, because this was kind of an origin of sorts. But I thought it was a special game for the time. But I imagine if I played Devotion, I would agree with you, because I do like those kinds of games.
To clarify for anyone who doesn't know, Slender the Arrival is the console one, not the mobile phone one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I did. Okay. Do you want to answer then on that note, Better than Starlight? Do you want to answer?
Sure. Slender the Arrival is one of the funniest games I've ever played.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
So
I mean,
no, it's not, but I'm gonna vote for it because of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Slender just because I've watched a lot of creators play it, so I have like a fond memory of it.
Yeah.
Without actually touching it myself, but I pick Slender.
cool.
Abstain, Mayo.
Figured. Got it.
Slender Man just makes me laugh. I can't. take him
I'm gonna
seriously
defend
at all.
Devotion here for a second. If you guys have played Detention, I think you'll like Devotion. But Detention is also another smaller like horror psychological game, so I don't know if you guys play that. And we'll get to that later. All right, number 16 matchup:
Fair.
Death Stranding versus. I'm horrible at pronouncing this, and I got attacked for pronouncing this wrong last time. Penumbra Overture. Am I pronouncing that
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
All right,
Yep, that's
I
right.
got it. There we go. I don't know how I pronounced it where I got attacked for it last time I mispronounced it. Yeah, so I'll just start off right away saying I hate Death Stranding, guys. I do not like Death Stranding at
Ooh.
all. I despise it. I think it's
Stranding,
stupid. I
no.
think it's a waste of time, and I highly
Oh.
recommend you guys stay the fuck away from this game. But I
Wow.
respect anybody's opinions, of course. So
Chat, don't listen to Mayo. Don't listen to him.
Mayo.
I haven't even said anything.
Not-
He didn't say
Sorry,
anything. I was about to say Mayo.
Oh my
That's
God, I
me
meant
going hard on
Magspace.
Death
I
Stranding.
was looking at Mayo's picture when I said it. That's my bad.
I have a feeling that Mayo's gonna agree with me, hopefully. But I'm gonna go with Penumbra Overture. This game inspired who was it? Is this the people that did it? They either did the Amnesia series. It was the Amnesia series. The same people that did those, right? Or am I confusing? It was a different
Fictional games. So
Yeah,
I think,
fictional games. Yeah.
Amnesia.
Okay, so this was their first like their first like really good game in that kind of like style, and it kind of like set up the Amnesia series. And I think Penumbra Overture is phenomenal. So I am going to go with Penumbra, mainly because of my hate for Death Stranding, but because of my respect for fictional games.
Well, I can respect the developer, but but Death Stranding to me would win.
Fair.
You know, Frictional Games has earned a lot of credit with me because of Amnesia the Bunker under the new direction of Frederick Olsen. So I'm gonna go with Penumbra just because that studio is really impressing me right now.
Yeah, for sure.
That's fair.
Fair.
I'm
Conjured
gonna have to
Starlight.
go with Death Stranding. That game was freaking gorgeous. I haven't played Penumbra, so that opinion can change, but I'm gonna go with Death for now.
You know, for someone that was
Yeah.
saying how much they hate Hellblade, Hellblade's also gorgeous, but
Whoa, whoa,
I
whoa,
mean,
whoa, whoa!
I'm
It was
just saying.
repetitive. Death Stranding, at least you had the environments. You had different environments to walk to, you know?
Yeah.
Different sceneries,
I feel it.
etc.
Lots of sceneries that you walk.
Yeah, it's a super
And Sarah.
super, yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm done. What do you got, Starlight?
I do love both of these games. Penumbra Overture is a very good game. Death Stranding is one of my favorite games, and I am biased
Ooh.
towards it because I played this game during COVID. So all of the themes of this game just hit me extra hard to the point where this is one of the only games I've cried during the ending of. And I know it's like a 4-hour cutscene at the end, but
Yeah.
because the Kojima moment, but just
Yeah.
something about this game is just so zen and meditative to where if I don't know what to do and I'm stressed out, I will just boot up Death Stranding, do a couple deliveries, and it calms me down so much. I love this game.
That's cool.
You know what other games you can do deliveries in? I mean, there's Crazy Taxi too. You can deliver people to places and
Crazy
stuff
Taxi
like that.
doesn't take place in Crazy Taxi doesn't have the Iceland vibes though.
Anyways, obviously I'm a huge hater for Death Stranding.
No, that's I understand completely. People that hate this game, I get it 100%.
All right, matchup number 16. We got or 17. Sorry, matchup number 17. The Last of Us 2 versus Cry of Fear. I know Kenneth Dorset in the chat is a huge Cry of Fear fan. He's gonna choose Cry of Fear. And I know there's a lot of haters of The Last of Us 2 in the direction that game went down. Despite that, though, if you're ignoring the story, and you're just focusing on the gameplay side of things, I mean, The Last of Us 2 is a masterpiece. Like, it's one of the most exciting gameplay, like I love the gameplay of The Last of Us 2. And there are some really cool horror elements to The Last of Us 2. Like, the Rat King is fucking terrifying. So, for me, I gotta go The Last of Us 2.
You guys like golf?
I knew some.
We'll see it on TV soon, actually.
Facts. 4. All right.
Yeah, I go last. You know, I've never done Cry of Fear, so it's maybe a little unfair. But I actually completely echo you. If you just take the story out, there is enough horror elements, and then as a game, Last of Us Part 2 is still like elite. So I'd echo what you said.
Yeah. So, just so you guys know, the chat is completely split on this right now. There's
that.
half of
It's
them with The
awesome.
Last of Us and Cry of Fear. So this might actually be an underrated matchup, apparently. But who's up next?
Well,
Maybe
let
you-
me go ahead
can-
and throw in my weight with Cry of Fear, one of the scariest games I have ever played.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Terrifying game. Great survival gameplay with the fact that you discard your bullets and you have to think about when you reload, whether you're going to reload and discard your bullets or go in with a full magazine, which you're going to need to take those enemies down. Great decision making. Some good backtracking, some decent puzzles. Great disturbing horror imagery, compelling and sad story, incredible music. That is, I mean, yeah, man, Cry of Fear is
So I'm
one of
gonna
my
assume
favorite.
you're probably leaning towards Cry of Fear. Then I mean, so
Yeah, I
what
mean,
you're saying is you
I,
hate Cry of Fear. It's a shit game,
yeah.
right?
No,
That's it.
it's the one I know. I only played the first Last of Us. I didn't play the second one, and I hear everything. I hear people hate it. I hear people love it. I hear that if you just play it as a game, like you said, it's great. Okay, great. I'm not making any statement about it. I'm just saying that Cry of Fear, I think, is an indie masterpiece.
Nice. I agree. I think it's phenomenal. And I think if it had a better matchup, it definitely could have made it farther in the tournament. I just think going up against Last of Us 2 is kind of a juggernaut fight for it. David versus Goliath kind of situation. But like I said, the chat is split right now, so it's going to be interesting to see how this poll goes. But we'll see. Keandre, did you go, or was it better in Starlight?
I'm picking Cry of Fear.
Nice. Okay.
Automatically. Did not like The Last of Us Part 2. In comparison to 1, no.
Fair. I can agree with that assumption. What about you, Starlight? Did you answer?
I don't have any strong opinions about The Last of Us. I played the first game once, I played the second game once, and I haven't even watched the show. I just don't care about it very much. I'm not saying it's bad. Whereas Cry of Fear is like one of the most innovative horror games I have ever played and has stuck with me so much.
Yes.
I'm not normally super scared of horror games like at all because I've played so many of them. This game genuinely shook me to my core at some points. It's so scary. So Cry of Fear sweep.
I did not realize so many of you guys would vote Cry of Fear over Last of Us 2. I'm shocked. But like I said,
Also,
chat's
it's
split
free.
too. Yeah. So Ethan, by the way, thank you so much for the super chat, my dude. The Last of Us 2 is getting an update. Is that true? Is it? What kind of updates
I
are
don't
getting?
know.
Yeah, because they're adding with the PC release, they're adding maps to the add-on that they did, like the like the
it has like a
wave-based-
mercenaries mode, right?
Yeah. They're adding to that. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Nice. Good
Couple
to know.
weeks.
Good to know. I haven't played The Last of Us 2 in ages, probably since its release, honestly. So I definitely got to jump into it.
5 years old this June.
Word. Moving on to matchup number 18, Silent Hill Origins versus Fear 2. This is a good one. I know a lot of people hate Origins, so there's a lot of heat towards it. But I actually really love Silent Hill Origins. Despite that, though, I mean, Fear 2 is like a masterpiece. I actually like Fear 2. I'm one of the people out there that actually like Fear 2 better than the first game. And I just think it's like some of the settings in Fear 2, like the school, is just terrifying. The opening level, I think, is the hospital. I think it's the opening Fear 2 as well. That's terrifying. Like Fear 2 is just a masterpiece, and it's terrifying. And it's one of those like psychological mindfuck type of horror games, which I absolutely love. And then it's first person, which kind of there's not a ton of first person horror games that really scare you as much as that have those like action shooters in them that in the genre. So I don't know. I really like Fear 2, so I got to go Fear 2. But I do like Silent Hill Origins, and I wish it was going up against a different game. So Fear 2 is my choice.
Is Fear 1 on here?
It is, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give Silent Hill Origins then.
Damn. Silent Hill also has like 8 games on here.
That's fine. Fear 1 is like one of my favorite first-person shooters, and Fear 2 is not as good. So I'd rather vote for Fear 1 later.
I literally just did a whole speech about how Fear 2 is like better than the original game, and you're breaking my heart.
Sorry, I'm boomer shooter pilled.
Yeah, most people probably agree with you, honestly. I feel like that the environments of Fear 2 were better. They're pretty scary. What do you guys got? Anybody else?
I generally will always defend Fear and RIP Monolith, so I'll do Fear 2.
Oh no, that's right.
Forgot. No.
I can never forget. RIP.
I'm actually doing a short on that. Actually, we got too much to talk about. I won't bring it up. Yeah, but there is a short I'm doing on that soon too. So stay tuned. Mayu, what do you got, man? Have you played these games?
I played a little of Fear 2. I'm a huge Fear 1 fan. I played a little of Fear 2 and it just didn't click for me.
Damn it.
But here's the thing. I also played it on console when I played Fear on PC.
Mistake.
So I'm sure that was a mistake. It was in a few years where I just didn't have access to play it the right way. and I'm no fan of Origins, but I don't have like deep hate for it like I do certain other Silent Hill titles. So, just because you go back to the original town and go to some different places and it kind of controls like a classic Silent Hill in a way, I'll go ahead and give it to Origins. Why not?
All right. Sounds good. Who else do we got? Conjured and Better. What do you guys have? Oh, wait, no, Better. You
Oh, I
said
went
Fear.
already.
You said you said Fear 1. Sorry. Conjured. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean towards Fear 2. It's definitely my favorite out of the trilogy. I loved Fear 1 as well. I did not like Fear 3, but Fear 2 is my favorite.
Yeah, same.
Origins
On
eh.
all. Okay. Chat seems to agree with us. I think almost everybody in chat said Fear 2. They also said a lot of same things you guys said, or you said, Conjured. See a lot of shit talking of Fear 3, which is fair. Okay, moving on to matchup number 19. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly versus Alone in the Dark. For the record, this is the original Alone in the Dark.
Tough.
So OG Alone in the Dark versus Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly. For me, this is
original
really
Fatal Frame 2, right? Because I know that had a remake too.
Yeah, so I didn't do a poll for this one, mainly because I it's a remake, but it's also kind of a port. Put it however you want to do it. If you want to consider it as the remake, you can consider it as the remake. If you want to consider it as the port, I'm just gonna put Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly on the poll and let people figure out how they want to handle it. But I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the Wii edition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Wii edition is probably the superior way to play Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly, so that's probably the way that we probably should go with. But either way, it doesn't matter which version we're looking at. I'm still gonna go Crimson Butterfly here. I mean, one of the best survival horror games out there. One of the best stories in a horror game, in my opinion, out there. I mean, it's a masterpiece. I could not stop. I mean, I would say this is probably in my top 5 horror games of all time. That's how much I love Crimson Butterfly. So, yeah, I got to go Crimson Butterfly, no question. Even though Alone in the Dark did a lot of great things for the genre, for the survival horror genre, I'll give it that. But still, Crimson Butterfly.
That's where I kind of lean. Alone in the Dark deserves the honorable mention for what it did, but it's fighting an uphill battle here.
For sure.
I Fatal Frame is a series I never got to, and I hope to someday. I didn't play Alone in the Dark either, but just because of how it's the progenitor to Resident Evil, I'm gonna have to go with Alone in the Dark just for legacy.
That's fair. I respect it. Everybody win. We're missing someone.
It's got to be better than the Alone in the Dark that came out last.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
I think I actually didn't do a poll on this one. I probably should have, since technically. But my problem with Alone in the Dark, I think it has like 3 remakes. So it has like it's been remade multiple times. So like whatever. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Second to Last Emperor. Is Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare on here? It is not.
I would have gone to bat if I remembered that.
I mean, that really kind of like opens a door for like, okay, so we're allowing expansions on here, but not like horror.
That fits better in like a DLC bracket.
Yeah, maybe one that, if this goes well, maybe next year I'll do a different style bracket similar to that, or maybe on my second channel I'll do an RPG one. We'll see what happens.
Oh man, that
could be fun. But yeah, who else hasn't gone on this one yet? Fatal Frame 2 versus Alone in the Dark.
I'm gonna pick Fatal Frame 2. Just having your sister react to like the environment is probably like one of the most terrifying things I can think about in that game. So I'm picking Fatal Frame.
I totally forgot about that. That's true. I love that.
I'll pick Fatal Frame. I have nothing to say that has been said already.
Cool. I don't think anyone chose Alone in the Dark in the chat, so think we're all on the same page here, it seems. All right, matchup number 20, Detention versus Forbidden Siren 2. So listen, huge defender of Forbidden Siren 2. I'm going to go Detention because of the story. I think it's one of the best psychological horror stories of all time. Even better than Devotion. I know I said that with Devotion, but I think Detention is one of the best indie, psychological horror games out there. So Detention by a long shot for me. Who wants to go next?
I haven't played either of these games, so I will abstain.
Same.
Stay.
Although you just sold me on
Siren
Detention.
1.
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Conjured?
I've only played the first Siren. not the second.
Gotcha. Have you played Detention?
Nah.
Okay. Well, and what about you, Mayo? Have you played either of these?
No, I got to abstain from this one. Sorry.
All right, guys. So shame on all of you. I 100% want you all to go and play Detention as soon as possible. It's literally like one of the shortest games you could possibly play, so it won't take long for you guys to play through the game. And
Is it on Steam?
it is, yes. So go play it
Detention.
when you get a chance.
Oh yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap. It's a short game. And it's a really, really fantastic story. And it has like pretty cool puzzles too. So if you like those puzzles and like survival horror games, you'll like it. But I think the story is where the game really shines. So definitely go check it out.
I'm buying it right now. Thank you.
Hey.
Nice.
All right, number 21, Silent Hill 2 versus Silent Hill 2 remake versus Countdown Vampires. Again, Silent Hill 2 remake won the preliminaries against the OG Silent Hill 2, much to Mayo's dismay.
You're gonna single me. You're gonna
hell yeah, I'm gonna single
out?
you out. I remember how
This
you
is-
went at the beginning of the stream.
This is Silent Hill 2 remake, right?
Yeah, Silent Hill 2 remake versus Countdown Vampires.
Okay, Countdown Vampires is better.
Bullshit, dude. That's not even funny. Come on, man. There's no way. Like, it doesn't matter how much you hate Silent Hill 2 remake. You're really gonna go Countdown Vampires.
What's this game? Countdown Vampires? You count vampires until the building explodes? I don't know. Whatever it is better.
You
I
guys.
have immense nostalgia for Countdown Vampires because I played it as a kid.
Oh my
I don't
God.
care if that game isn't very good. I love it.
All right, so let me mark in my notes.
Is
Never
liking Silent
bring.
Hill 2 remake like a controversy all of a sudden? What's going on?
I mean, it's always been anybody that likes a remake or OG, you're gonna be on a controversial side of something.
Wow.
But yeah,
Silent Hill 2 remake, I'm fine with. It doesn't hit the same as the original for me.
yeah, I feel you.
And
It
it
doesn't
ran
do
like
anything better.
ass.
It doesn't do anything better than the original.
I
in other
disagree.
remakes, you
I
can-
disagree. Oh my God.
In other remakes, you can say, "Oh, I don't."
But does that make it a bad game?
It
No.
makes it a disgrace to an artistic masterpiece.
Oh my God.
I just
Wow.
prefer Countdown Vampires. I don't really. I think Silent Hill 2 remake technically could be considered a better game depending on how you're looking at it.
Mhm.
But when I played it, it didn't run well, and there was no point where I was like, "This is better than the thing that I've played before." Besides like the graphics, but even then, I prefer the vibes of the original Silent Hill 2. So I'm just like, Countdown Vampires. I would rather go play that right now.
Oh my God. I knew this was gonna be funny to watch. As soon as I started the stream and I saw how the conversation with Silent Hill 2 remake was going, I knew this was gonna happen.
Hold on. Somebody in chat said the Eddie boss fight is better. You know what? You're right. The Eddie boss fight is better. I take it back. Silent Hill 2 remake is amazing.
Good. Glad we ended up here.
All right. So we're all in agreement. Silent Hill 2 remake is the best Silent Hill game, right? Is that what we're trying to say here?
I think
Totally.
I think you got him in recording.
I think that's what Mayo said. I'm gonna edit those words and make it come out. To
Yeah, I
say that.
recant. I recant my 40-minute video on it.
Average under the Mayo response video, honestly.
Listen.
It's got to be 6 hours though.
So I love Under the Mayo. I love the guy to death. Love watching your content. You're one of the first like content creators I watch.
sweet.
So you're amazing, and I agree with 95% of your opinions. I'm gonna disagree with you on this one, though, my friend.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, I'm assuming.
Let's not derail it.
I'm assuming you haven't seen my Silent Hill rankings, because I'm very sure you will be disappointed to see that Silent Hill 2 remake is my favorite Silent Hill game of all time. So I love the remake of Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 OG, phenomenal. I think it's my third favorite game, just under Silent Hill 3 and Silent Hill 2 remake. But in my opinion, there are just things about the remake that I really, really do enjoy. I love the controls.
Sure.
I'm always been a huge fan of classic survival horror games. But I feel like Bloober Team handled the controls of modern survival horror in a really, really good way. I like the things that they added to it. They increase, the amount of playability. There's a lot more to do, explore in the world of Silent Hill 2 remake compared to the original. That's
the problem. That's the problem. It's an experience that was perfect for the length of the original game, and they doubled or tripled the experience with that, and that does no service. Okay, imagine if RoboCop was a 5-hour long movie, but it was the same exact story and the same exact things happened. It would not serve to the benefit of the story and its impact. It dilutes the entire experience across a game that lasts twice as long. The maps are 3 times as long. It's exhausting. They make you fight 3 times as many enemies with a combat system that is boring. At least you could just kind of get through the combat mindlessly in the original game. Now you have to engage in this combat that is a drag, and you do 3 times as much of it. Oh my
That's
god!
such a good comparison.
And okay, look, let's not ignore the fact that it's fine if you want to change how characters look in a remake. Fine, it's a remake, but to keep every character in their original outfits. But the only one they change is is the sexy looking girl to make her look more modest. Fuck that shit. No.
And then they have her make fun of her old outfit, be like, "Who would wear this?" It's like,
who would wear this?
Chill out.
Just like in the RoboCop remake,
It's
when
like,
they show the original RoboCop suit, and they're like, huh, "Who would want that?"
that
Put him
thing's
in black.
ugly.
Oh my god!
I hate when remakes do that. It makes me so angry. Oh my goodness.
So what you're saying
right,
is the remake is better than the original is kind of the whole. It's what I got from that.
And with that, I go with the remake over the vampire game. Sure,
Very good.
Like, that's fine if you like Silent Hill 2 remake.
because the Eddie boss fight's better.
Fair. Listen, I don't want to waste too much on this because I know we're not even halfway through this list yet. So I'm gonna.
Oh no.
Let's
Yeah,
rapid fire.
yeah. So we'll just wrap this one up pretty quickly. I go Silent Hill 2 remake for my own reasons. Mayo, you're going Countdown Vampires.
Let's just move on.
Okay. Podcast, I didn't get to hear what you said, and Conjured, I didn't get to hear what you said. What do you guys have?
Just
Silent
really
Hill.
quick.
I'm just gonna
Silent
pick
Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, we're going moving on. All right, Bramble the Mountain King versus Silent Hill for the Room. So if you guys like Little Nightmares, you'll probably like Bramble the Mountain King. So surprisingly, I've actually played Bramble the Mountain King, have not played the Little Nightmares game, and I think Bramble the Mountain King is actually a masterpiece. I love this game with a passion, and I actually love Silent Hill for the Room, but I'm actually gonna go Bramble the Mountain King. I love this game so much. It's one of those. It's a very gruesome. It takes like the fairy tale of the folklore. I forgot. I think it's Norse folklore or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I don't know what type of folklore, but it takes some sort of folklore and adds like some really dark and horror elements to it, some gruesome dark horror elements to it, and I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna go Bramble the Mountain King for sure. For me.
Well, I never
I've not
played
played
that
either.
game, but you sold me on it. So actually, without playing it at all, I will tell you. If it's like Little Nightmares, I agree with you.
Okay.
You know what? Fair. Yeah, what Podcast Now said.
There we
I
go.
haven't played either of these though.
All right.
Wow.
Mayo Conjured.
I haven't played either.
You haven't played the Silent Hill for the Room?
Oh.
I'm shocked.
I'm actually playing that this week.
Nice. Enjoy.
I don't know Bramble. And Silent Hill 4 is not my favorite, but there's just something interesting about it.
Yeah.
You can't forget it. Yeah. So I respect Silent Hill 4. So yeah, I'll go with that.
Cool. All right, next one, Doom 3, the only Doom game that I consider a horror game, and it's the only Doom game on this tournament versus Obscure, which is, pun intended, an obscure horror game that most people haven't played. So yeah. So what do you guys got? I'm gonna go with. So I love Obscure. Don't get me wrong. Love sort of classic survival horror. It's not really classic, but it's in that element. But it's still clunky to kind of get used to. Not a huge fan of Obscure, but I like it. But I'm gonna go with Doom 3. Doom 3 is phenomenal when you think of it as a sci-fi horror game versus what Doom is known for, which is action horror. But Doom 3 completely moves away from that idea and goes full-blown horror with it, and I love it.
What's Doom?
Oh, it's that weird game with that guy that runs around with the helmet and
With
just
the
beats
green
the
guy
shit out
fighting
of.
You might have
aliens.
seen him in that
Demons.
Animal Crossing spinoff.
Is that the guy that looks like? Is that the guy that looks like Halo?
That's that one.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh,
That's
you're
him.
right.
Yeah. Okay. I built my first PC for Doom 3.
Nice.
I don't love Doom 3. I loved it back then. I find it a little hard to play now for whatever reason, but I got a lot of nostalgia for it. So yeah, Doom 3. I've played Obscure. Not the biggest fan. So
Yeah. Totally fair. Chat seems kind of split. So
Yeah. I'd say Doom. Just I mean, like you said, if it's the only Doom on here, then I'll give it the bump. Just
It
because of that.
is. It
I don't
is.
know if I'm like Mandela affecting myself with a mod, but isn't there like two versions of Doom 3? One where the flashlight's a toggle and one where it's like always out?
Yes.
Or
No.
if it's the original version of Doom 3, I prefer that one. If it's the like newer version with the attached flashlight and the rebalancing, I think Obscure is better.
Okay, fair enough.
So-
Conjure, you got anything?
I don't know.
I actually have Doom 3, the VR edition, if that counts. That's the only one I played.
Never played the VR edition actually. Is it
It's
fun?
for the PS4. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. But if that's like as the same as like the definitive experience, then yeah, 100%. I love Doom 3. I picked Doom 3.
Cool. Matchup number 24. Condemn. Oh, this is actually, I almost consider this one for the thumbnail. This is a big one. Assuming you guys have played both of these. Condemn Criminal Origins versus Fatal Frame. Yeah. So who wants to go first on this one? Because I actually don't know yet. I think I'm leaning more towards one, but
I have to go to the bathroom, so I'm just going to say Fatal Frame and then leave.
word. See ya.
Well, I'm gonna go with my gut and say Fatal Frame. That is a tough one. So I will go with First thought.
Q.
The only one I know is Condemned. I mean, like played myself. So I'll go Condemned. I don't really have a strong feeling about it though. Butcher's Creek though. If you guys haven't played Butcher's Creek, it's like a new Condemned. You should play it.
I need to try. I've heard of it. Never played it. That came out. That came out a few years ago, right? Or am I confusing that with something else?
Butcher's Creek came out like a month and a half ago. It's from the guy that did Dusk and Iron Lung.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I gotta try it then. Conjured?
Condemned.
Yeah.
This is OG Fatal Frame, right?
Yes, the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm picking Condemned.
Yeah, I'll go Condemn Criminal Origins. I love Fatal Frame. I think the controls in the first game made it difficult to love it as much as I love the other, like Fatal Frame 2. But Condemn Criminal Origins, I just replayed that recently and I absolutely love it. It's phenomenal. Fantastic. The department store section of that game is terrifying. Especially with the sound design of like, the mannequins like whispering shit and stuff. So love it. Next matchup, Bloodborne. The only Soulsborne game on this list, Bloodborne versus Repo, which I know nothing about, by the way, guys. I learned this because of Conjure Line and Rapid Crafter. They're the ones that told me about this game. And apparently it's like it's a really popular mid game right now or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about it. You guys are gonna have to like help me out here if you know anything about Repo, because I don't know anything. But either way, I think Bloodborne's a masterpiece. I think it's like one of the better Soulsborne games out there. I think it's one of the best horror games out there. So I'm gonna go Bloodborne for sure. Not even a question for me. Even if I knew anything about Repo, I'm sure I would go Bloodborne anyways.
Repo on Steam has 62,000 positive reviews.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I told you, man.
Wow.
Like it's like really popular right now. Apparently, it's like a huge fan favorite. I know nothing about this game. Never heard of it until Conjure Line and Rapid Crafter told me. I'm just like,
I'm
damn.
going Bloodborne. That's still an easy one. I'll ignore everything else said. Bloodborne it is.
I love Souls games, so I have to pick Bloodborne.
Word.
But I am definitely interested in this Repo game.
I bet you Repo's gonna win. I'm not even kidding, guys. I feel like Repo's
That's
gonna surprise us.
crazy.
I'm dead serious. Like Repo, like ever since Conjured and Rapid Crafter told me about this game, I did like research on it, and there are some hardcore fans for this game. Like they are extremely passionate about this game. So don't be surprised that Repo like blindsides us and like makes it a couple rounds into this tournament. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, and the shareable mods too, where you can actually, I think it's an app where you actually download mods, and you give it to like the other 5 people. It's 6 players, by the way, too.
Yep.
I'm gonna abstain from this vote.
Fair.
Fair enough.
But I'm still picking Bloodborne. Happy 10 years, by the way.
Yeah. For your
Hey.
safety, Mayo, don't bring up a Soulsborne game.
Oh no, I will not.
Don't do it.
I gotta know
I'm
I gotta
not
know
gonna do
details
that.
about this. What the hell's going on with this?
Just search Under the Mayo Elden Ring.
Let's
And-
not do that.
Don't bring it up to him. Don't.
You hear that, chat? All right, I want you guys to go and search Elden Ring Under the Mayo.
Chat,
and
don't search that. Don't search that, chat. Chat, do
Get the
not
word,
search
guys.
that.
Oh god.
And I
already
did
saw
make-
someone make the joke in Nerd Spaces chat. Don't search it.
Let's
All
not
right.
do that. Look,
Alright.
Souls. I have nothing against Souls games, whether it's Elden Ring, Dark Souls. Cool, great games. Not for me. I say nothing negative about them because I have no opinion other than it's not for me.
Fair. Cool. Matchup number 26. We're sticking with another Fatal Frame game. Fatal Frame 3 The Tormented versus The Suffering. This is the last Fatal Frame game on the list. I don't think I included 4 or 5 because they were kind of reviewed pretty bad. And
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So, but this is the last Fatal Frame game on here. And The Suffering is a very, very underrated survival horror game. Yeah, action horror that takes place in a prison, which is pretty awesome. Like, it's actually done really well. Obviously, I'm really, campaigning here for The Suffering. I love The Suffering. It was one of my favorite games. I think on the PlayStation 2 was it that I played it on? That sounds about right. And I absolutely loved it. So I'm gonna go with The Suffering here. But Fatal Frame 3 The Tormented is also a really fantastic game. Anybody else want to comment on this one?
Suffering. I played it when it came out, but I haven't played it since. I don't know how well it's aged, but I loved it at the time, so I'm going Suffering.
Nice.
Fatal Frame's gotten all the love it needs so far, so I'm going with The Suffering as well.
Fair.
You know what? I like that mindset. I'll do the same thing.
All right. Countered.
Yeah, I'm picking the Suffering.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
And
Suffering sweep.
chat looks like they agree. Oh, actually, it looks a little split. Kind of split. But it's mostly Suffering, though, it looks like. All right, 27. Matchup 27. Clock Tower, the original Clock Tower. This one is not Clock Tower the first.
3, right?
Wait, what? Oh, no. See what you did there. Clock Tower versus Blair Witch. This is a no-brainer for me. I'm going to go Clock Tower. Blair Witch, by the way, is the Bloober Team Blair Witch horror walking simulator. So we know what your thing is, Starlight. So why don't you go first?
I mean, you said what needed to be said. I don't think I need to say which one I'm voting for.
Yeah. So
This
Starlight's
doesn't
going
seem
Clock
fair.
Tower. I'm
This
going
is not
Clock Tower.
fair, though. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Won't waste time. Yay, Scissors Man. All right. Matchup 28. Resident Evil 5 versus Siren. This is the first Forbidden. It's known as Siren, but it's also known as Forbidden Siren, like the first one. But I think it's
the PS2 one or the episodic PS3?
the
version?
PS2 one. This is you're thinking Blood Curse.
Oh, Blood
So
Curse, yeah.
yeah. So this is the first one. I think it was. I could be wrong. In chat, you can correct me here. I think Siren was a name before it released outside of the States or outside of Japan. Sorry, outside of Japan, and then when it released outside Japan, the name got changed to Forbidden Siren, if I'm not mistaken. Chat's gonna have to help me out here. Either way, the first Forbidden Siren game versus Resident Evil 5. I love the first Siren game, and we've already had the discussion how Resident Evil 5's action, very heavy action. The only reason why I even include it on this list is because I know there's going to be people attacking me if this wasn't in the tournament. So it's here, but I'm going Siren, 100%.
This one's really hard because I do like Siren, but I'm also a diehard under the radar Resident Evil 5 fan. So I'm actually going to go RE5.
Fair. Totally fair.
RE5 is my favorite Resident Evil game, so
Yes. There we go.
and it's not close. So I'm gonna pick RE5.
Fair.
Yep, same. RE5.
I haven't played Siren, but I'm still gonna vote for it over Resident Evil 5.
You, my friend, don't like action horror, do you?
No, I do. I love Resident Evil 4.
What?
I love Dead Space, but it's
Fair.
I'm not even gonna say Resident Evil 5 is a bad game. I'm not even gonna do that. I'm just saying I personally find it obnoxious.
That's fair. I completely understand that.
I played through like 6 chapters of it with my sister back in the day, and then we just never picked it up again. We played it for those 6 chapters, and then we were like, let's not play it anymore. So I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. So
I get that. Totally fair. Everybody answer on that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chat
Yep, I think so.
seems to be, unsurprisingly, all for Resident Evil 5. It seems a couple Siren fans in there. So moving on to matchup number 29. So I'm probably going to be on my own here, but it's Limbo versus Higurashi When They Cry. I'm 100% going for Higurashi When They Cry. The entire When They Cry series is phenomenal. It's a horror visual novel, for those that don't know. One of the best horror visual novels out there. and it is brutal. For the record, by the way, guys, the writer of Higurashi When They Cry is writing Silent Hill F, just so you guys know. Hopefully that's swayed some of your minds.
Really?
It is, yeah. So whoever, I think his name is Rikishi, Ryukishi. Oh God,
Ryukishi 7 or something.
that's it.
I don't know.
Ryukishi 7. That's it. He's the writer of the Higurashi When They Cry series, and it is he's gonna be the writer for Silent Hill F. So phenomenal game, especially if you love horror visual novels. I am obviously pushing for Higurashi When They Cry on this one. That's the one I'm going with. That's my pick. One of my favorite games of all time. You guys.
I've seen a lot of comments pumping that up because of Silent Hill F. So I definitely I can feel what you're saying. I gotta go Limbo, but
Fair.
that's a good matchup.
I gotcha.
I
Who would
gotta
you go
go
next?
with Higurashi.
Higurashi, nice. And for the record, by the way, if any of you guys don't want to play the game, totally understand. Visual novels are really hard to play, like get into. If you don't like visual novels, I mean, it's a lot of reading, so totally understand if you don't want to play it. They have an anime. You can go watch the anime if you're into that instead. Which I like the anime just as much.
I actually didn't know that. I'm gonna write that down.
You should go watch the anime. It's on Crunchyroll, so go check it out. I know you said you were gonna abstain. Mayo, who up? Conjure, what about you?
I'm picking Higurashi.
Cool.
I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping everyone's right about him on Silent Hill F. Regardless of how that game turns out, if it has a great story,
I really hope that game is good.
Yeah. I'm now. Let's put it this way: when it comes to the story, the psychological aspect of the story, I am not concerned at all with this guy writing the script. So I'll say that much. Now, as far as the gameplay, atmosphere, and all that other stuff, obviously, I can't comment. I mean, there's nothing you can do about. There's nothing he can do about that. He's just writing the script. But as far as the story itself, like, you're going to get a really probably dark and gruesome story with this guy writing. Like, go watch the anime and you'll see what I'm talking about. This guy writes some really like fucking insane stuff. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Number 30. So this is a game I've never played. Actually, it was Podcast Now that actually got this added on here. I didn't even know it was a horror game until Podcast Now told me about it. So you're welcome. Or thank you. And then so this is Oxenfree versus Phasmophobia, which I do know a lot about. Haven't played it, but I just know how like popular Phasmophobia was when it first came out. So I know a lot about Phasmophobia. Don't know anything about Oxenfree. For that record, I guess I go with Phasmophobia, but again, like I said, I really don't have a personal opinion on either of these because I haven't personally played either of them. So
yeah,
is Oxenfree 2 on here?
As what?
Is Oxenfree 2 on here?
I only pushed him to do the first game.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. I'm gonna vote for Oxenfree then, since I won't have another opportunity.
Yeah. I think the first game's honestly better. I really did like the second game, but just how long... Just the first game does stuff that I feel like when the second game tries to replicate, it was already done.
Yeah, the second game does drag a little bit.
Yeah. It's still really good, but Oxenfree 1 is just like that perfect kind of thing. So to me, that I predicted the Limbo versus Oxenfree round 2 thing a couple days ago, so I'm going with that.
Yeah. You're probably right. I'm rooting for When They Cry, but you're probably right.
Accurate.
Okay. Oh wait, anybody else want to say anything about Oxenfree or Phasmophobia? Sorry.
I have no comment on either.
Cool.
Wow. This is shocking.
Sorry. I want to play both. I do. Just haven't had a chance to. All right, so number 31. All right, we'll move on to the next one. 31, Silent Hill, the original Silent Hill versus Alone in the Dark, A New Nightmare.
Which one is that?
Alone in the Dark, New Nightmare. It's the one that was, I think it was on, I know for sure it was on PlayStation, but I think it was also on Dreamcast, right? If I'm not mistaken. Maybe. I don't know about that one. It's very...
Yeah, it was on Dreamcast.
So it's the Alone in the Dark. So I know like Resident Evil took some inspiration from Alone in the Dark. Well, Alone in the Dark New Nightmare took some inspiration from Resident Evil. So it's kind of like a full circle moment for it. So it's very like classic survival horror type of game. And I love it. I love it. But you're going up against Silent Hill, the OG. So it's not even a question for me. I got to go the original Silent Hill.
Silent Hill.
Yep, same. OG Silent Hill.
Anybody
Yeah,
else?
I'll go. I mean, I don't know that Alone in the Dark. I've only played the one that came out last year. But
Yeah.
Silent Hill 1, I just want to say that I think it currently might be my favorite of the trilogy. 3 was my favorite for many years, and then it became 2 as I got older, and now as I'm getting even older, something about Silent Hill 1. It's kind of similar to how Terminator 2 was my favorite for most of my life, but as I'm getting older, I'm starting to look at Terminator 1 and just seeing how kind of like simple and quaint and well done it was. It's kind of a similar thing where I'm kind of going back to
Respect.
the original, and like Silent Hill 1 is just, I don't know, it's got something. I love the way it controls too. Controls better than 2 and 3. So yeah, Silent Hill 1. Long-winded way of saying Silent Hill 1.
Fair. All right. Conjured, I think you're the only one I didn't hear, right?
I said Silent Hill.
All right, cool. All right, moving on. Next one. Parasite Eve. The first game. Parasite Eve versus Still Wakes the Deep. Still Wakes the Deep, great walking
Christmas
simulator.
battle.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, good call. About all the Christmas horror games. Unfortunately, it's kind of an easy one for me, like a slam dunk. I got to go the first Parasite Eve, 100%. Again, go back to my roots of loving horror RPGs, and I feel like the Parasite Eve franchise has kind of nailed that like middle ground of those two genres. So Parasite Eve.
Yeah, Parasite Eve.
Agreed. Although I do know people that defend Still Wakes the Deep as like a game of the year type game, so I would do Parasite Eve.
Really?
I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to talk
I know
to
like
some of
two,
these people.
two
that you
different
know.
people really liked it. Yeah.
Interesting. We'll have to talk to them and make sure they understand how wrong they are. But because then it Still Wakes the Deep. What year did that come out? Did that come out the same year as Resident Evil 4 remake?
Didn't it come out last year or the year before? One of the last two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like
I think it did. So
about
it came
a
the
year
same
ago.
year. So they're saying that Still Wakes the Deep was better than Resident Evil 4
A game
remake.
of the year. Well, yeah.
Is what they're is pretty much what they're saying. And Dead Space, that's better than Dead Space.
I cover
remake.
more than horror on my channels, right?
I got you. All right. All right. So number 33 matchup. Oh wait, did everybody comment on that one? Everyone's on the same page. Parasite Eve.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think so.
Sure.
Cool. All right. Next one. Resident Evil Code Veronica. Gotta play it under the mayo. And Chilla's Art, which I've never played. This is probably gonna be a Conjure Line discussion here because I don't know anything about Chilla's Art. So clearly Code Veronica for me. Which funny
This
enough,
is not
Code
a fair matchup at all.
It's not.
No. I mean, hey, seeds, man. Code Veronica is apparently the second seed, which is insane, by the way. Just so you guys know, Code Veronica is the second highest rated horror game of all time on Metacritic. That's fucking insane.
That's crazy.
That is fucking insane. It is the second highest. Well, okay, so Resident Evil 4, the OG, is higher rated than it, and so it's technically the dirt because I think OG Resident Evil 4 and BioShock are higher than it on Metacritic. But Code Veronica, since the remake's the one that made it on this list, it's above the remake. But apparently, Code Veronica is the second highest rated horror game of all time, according to this list. So I think it has a score of 95, 94, I believe, which is insane. I love Code Veronica, but damn, I did not expect that. But yeah, so it's a second seed. So Code Veronica is an easy one for me. I don't think I would give it a 94 score, but definitely over Chilla's Art. I don't know anything about Chilla's Art, but I love Code Veronica.
Yeah, I go Code Veronica pretty easy. I don't know anything. Same as you, but I love Code Veronica.
Yeah,
pretty much same Code Veronica here.
Yeah. Do you want to comment anything on Chilla's Art? Because I know you're the Chilla's Art fanboy.
You're
the one that put it on here, actually. I think
it's basically like Fears to Fathom. It's an anthology series. It's a lot of J horror titles. It's a really good series. Each game is about like an hour, 2 hours each.
Gotcha. And
I'll vote for it. I mean, Code Veronica. I mean, from what I've seen of it, looks like a good Resident Evil game.
Yeah, and you're gonna play it next week, right?
Exactly. Next week.
Everyone told me to play, and then in parentheses, Nerd Space Games, Code Veronica.
Number 34. Number 34 matchup: The Thing versus Observer. So I haven't played Observer. Does that have anything to that's connected to a different like universe, right? Observer. Maybe not. Maybe I'm confusing it with something else. I think I'm confusing it with Impatient. Actually, never mind. I take that back. So I've never played Observer, but I love The Thing. The Thing is one of the best movie license horror games out there.
Oh yeah, I love that
So,
game.
yeah,
I'm voting
so
for that one.
yeah, I'm gonna go to Thing as well.
I'm going the Thing.
Observer's
same.
Observer's blooper team. I'm seeing,
It is.
Yeah.
That's who.
It
Okay,
is.
gotcha.
and
Yeah.
they have recently lost my favor.
I
So
wonder
I'm
why.
yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember what it was.
I don't know
So,
if we have 2 hours.
I think it was the medium.
Yeah. No. But I thought the Thing was cool. I played the remaster. I did a video on it. I think it's cool. So I'll go Thing.
Cool. All right. Matchup number 35. This is an interesting one. Soma versus Cold Fear. Played both of these. Haven't played Cold Fear in forever, but I know Soma's probably one of the best, like one of those like walking horror simulator, stealth horror games. I feel like Soma's one of the best of its genre, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go with Soma.
I'm actually also gonna vote for Soma.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like Soma quite a bit, so I picked that.
Only good walking simulator game.
I can't believe it, guys. Starlight said it. Starlight likes a walking simulator.
I
Let's
know.
go.
I know, it's crazy.
For the record,
know,
guys, this is the
I'm
same
a
guy
hypocrite.
that says they hate Death Stranding, or they love Death Stranding, which is like the epitome of a walking simulator. I mean,
Death Stranding walking is different than just holding forward or holding W.
Have you
and then
ever
crouching
played?
behind a box for 5 minutes.
Have you ever played What Remains of Edith Finch?
I have.
No, I do need to play that.
I
That's
played
one
that
of the-
recently.
I think that's one of the, honestly the best games ever created. Periods, and that's a walking sim. So there
I
can
don't
be
know
some
about-
good.
I'm gonna write that down. I do need to play that one. I will write that down.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I still think someone's better than that.
I feel bad that I never played Soma. So many people tell me to play it.
Yeah, you gotta play it.
And like someone here just said that it's like the quote unquote the best walking simulator game. I want to play it, but I'm gonna abstain from this one.
The best McDonald's cheeseburger.
That's harsh.
Sorry, that
number-
was mean. That was pretty mean.
Matchup number 36. It's gonna be Fear Effect versus Bending the Ink Machine. I haven't played either of these games in a long time. I haven't played Fear Effect since it first came out back on the PlayStation, I think it was. And Bending the Ink Machine, I played it. Obviously, that's a little bit more modern, but I don't remember much about it. Just because of animation style, which they both have unique animation styles, I'm still going to go with Bending the Ink Machine, just because I think it'll be fun. But I don't have a preference of these two.
The
You guys have
first
anything
two
to say?
Bendy and the Ink Machine episodes are good, but then every other one just fumbles it so hard that it ruins the first two. So I'm gonna vote for Fear Effect.
Nice.
Fear Effect has cool. I haven't played either of these, but Fear Effect I think has really cool art style. To
Yeah.
it, so I'll
They
go with
both
that.
do. They both have very unique animation style.
I've never played either, so I gotta skip.
All right. What about you, Conjure?
Yeah, I skip.
Cool. All right. Matchup number 37. Alan Wake 2
Oh.
versus Q-On. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right.
Easy.
Easy, so easy.
I'm curious. You guys are saying easy. I'm really curious. Like, I honestly don't know what to expect with this group anymore. I'm assuming easy because Alan Wake 2, right? We're on the same
Yeah.
page here?
For me, yeah.
Okay. All right. Just
It was
want to
my
make
game
sure.
of the year. So,
Yeah, it was my game of the year, too.
Well, I mean, Alan Wake 2 is the reason this is easy.
Oh, God.
It's the reason.
I don't like the framing of that.
I don't like what you're trying to do here. Continue. Well, continue. What
do you have
knew
against
as soon as
Sam
they
Lake? What
both
do you have
said
against
easy,
Matt
I knew this
Payne?
was gonna happen.
Oh my
What's
God.
the other game?
QAnon?
QAnon?
Yeah.
I vote for QAnon.
Fucking A, dude.
Wow.
Not
Mayo,
QAnon, no.
you're just not a fan of like modern survival horror. I'm starting to get that vibe right now.
That's
What
not
did Sam
true.
Lake do to you?
I think Alan Wake 2 is boring. I
Oh
think
my
it's
God.
really
my
boring.
God.
There's like 3 enemies in a 20-hour survival horror game where you're walking around the woods barely doing anything, and all the story sections is just Alan just saying, "Oh, the story writes itself. Or am I the story?" And blah, blah, blah. And he's just talking in circles.
You don't
and
like
talking in
Kingdom
circles.
Hearts, do you?
I never played Kingdom Hearts.
Ah.
I
And then
will say,
all of that to get no resolution at the end of the story.
Convoluted
and-
stories. I think that's where me and nerd space games
Yeah.
are aligned. Kingdom Hearts, Alan Wake, games that make no sense, but they actually do if you spend 30 hours looking it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think Alan Wake 1 is better though.
Whoa, what the fuck? You're insane.
No, Alan Wake 1 is, I like it way more.
I like the story of Alan Wake 1 maybe better.
gameplay
but the
I
is
don't like
so
the gameplay of
clunky
either
as hell.
game very much, but I like the story of Alan Wake 1 better, so I think it's better.
Yeah,
I
I can
know.
understand that.
God, I knew something bad was gonna happen with this one. I don't know why, but something in my gut told me that this was not gonna go well.
But I knew Mayo didn't like this game before we started, so I was like,
God.
I haven't even played Alan Wake 2.
I don't hate it. I didn't put it in my
What? You're hating on it and you haven't even played it.
No,
There's
I didn't say
bits
anything about it.
Did you watch the Game Awards where they played the when they played it live? Because that was the greatest gaming event of all time, personally.
Are you talking about the
Yeah, that's
concert?
true.
When yeah. Oh my God, what's
Yeah.
it called?
Herald of Darkness.
It's a
Herald of
banger.
Darkness.
I mean, incredible.
Oh
it's so good.
God.
Come on.
I asked the chat, like, I used to sing that every single stream of mine.
I
out there
listen
playing
to
that
it
game.
like every 3 days to be.
It's on my Spotify playlist. Like,
Yeah.
I literally can't stop listening to it. It's such an
Yeah.
addicting song. I used to know every word to it. I don't anymore. All right. Conjure, did you comment on this?
I was gonna say there's some things I like about it. I think there's some cool stuff about Alan Wake 2. I didn't put it in like my worst of the year or anything. I just didn't like it.
Fair.
That's
If Alan Wake 2 wins this, like the tournament, you should do a video of you doing the Herald of Darkness dance.
I'll tell you right now,
Oh,
chat.
yeah.
If Alan Wake 2 somehow wins this tournament, I don't think it's going to. I really think a Resident Evil game's winning this tournament. But if Alan Wake 2 does somehow win this tournament, I will do the entire dance to Herald of Darkness.
Yeah.
And
Do it.
I 100% would.
All right,
But
let's rake the vote now. Let's rake the vote.
Well, judging what it faces potentially in round 2, I feel like I don't trust the audience. I feel like it'll lose in round 2.
I think it's going to lose in round 2 as well.
Ooh, I just looked at round 2.
Yeah, that's a tough
So,
one.
Yeah.
okay.
No, it's not a tough one.
All right. So, Conjure, did you answer? Yeah, I don't know if you got a chance to answer.
I picked Alan Wake, but
All right.
I haven't played either. Still pick it.
You haven't played Alan Wake 2. Moving on. Matchup 30, Outlast versus The Evil Within. So both of these games are like, I would say top 20 horror games for me. I love both of these games. So it breaks my heart to see both of these games going up against each other this early. Another matchup that I think could have been the thumbnail.
Yeah.
I got to go with The Evil Within, though. I mean, come on. The Evil Within, the game, it has it all. Like, Outlast is a fantastic horror game, but The Evil Within is like the full package. It has everything: gameplay, story, horror environments, atmospheric horror. I can go on and on talking about this game, so it's got to be The Evil Within for me.
That one's a tough. I just replayed Evil Within for Halloween month, and it's so free. I like the second one better, but the first one's so good. But then Outlast is also that one's really hard. My gut tells me Outlast, because I feel like the Evil Within 2 is just a bit more. I don't know, like it just works a bit more. But genuinely honest, that's the hardest matchup I think of the whole list so far to me.
Yeah. There's only one other matchup I think that is harder than this, or two other matchups actually that's harder than this.
Oh, I see one at 46 that I really hate too.
Yeah, I knew that's the thumbnail actually.
Yeah. Oh my
yeah.
God.
So we'll get to that one. Yeah,
that's why I'm here.
Yeah, that one's gonna be interesting. Yeah. So what do you guys have? The rest of you guys have for Outlast versus The Evil Within?
I go Outlast. Both of them I'm lukewarm on. I don't know why The Evil Within didn't quite resonate with me, but it was like 10 years ago. I need to give it another shot.
You should.
You gotta.
Outlast is a little more fresh on my mind. And I liked what I played. I played it for like 4 hours or so, and it was an effective horror game. So
Yeah.
I'll give Outlast some love.
Nice. Cool. What about the rest of you guys?
I'm picking Outlast over
Damn.
The Evil Within.
I
wasn't
really
a fan
thought
of
The
black
Evil
bars.
Within.
I wasn't a
Jesus.
fan of the black bars and did not like the
You can
15
turn 'em off.
FPS issue. Did
I
you?
feel
Can
like-
you really?
Yeah.
Not at
As long as you're not
release,
playing it on last gen consoles, you can turn it off on every version
Oh,
of the game.
that's when I played it PS3 days. When you play
Oh,
that game
okay.
like in 15 FPS.
If you
holy
replay the
shit.
game, you can turn those off.
Yeah.
And it's not
it's
in 15 frames anymore.
Gotcha. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you're changing your opinion, right?
I'm still going for Outlast. Until I play
I
it again, I'll
really
change my
recommend you
opinion,
replay
but
it.
Yeah, you should for sure.
For now, Outlast.
All right, that's fair. Honestly, I think this is a good matchup, so happy either way. But yeah, I'm an Evil Within fan. What about you, Starlight? Did you answer yet?
Every October is Evil Within month on my channel. I love Evil
Ooh,
Within so
damn.
much. Almost as
Nice.
much as I like Resident Evil. I
Ooh,
was
wow.
so sad when the studio got shut down. I was
I know.
depressed for days.
Hey, maybe
God.
who was it that purchased Hi-Fi
Somebody
Rush?
purchased them.
Well, they purchased Hi-Fi
but,
Rush. They didn't purchase the entire like library, but
Oh, that made me more sad.
at least that shows that Microsoft's willing to sell like the IPs away. So maybe
Yeah.
Evil Within will get sold one day. Who knows? I don't know. Hopeful, wishful thinking here. All right. Moving on. I think we got everybody there. So moving on to Fear versus Call of Cthulhu. So this is I think it was an Xbox exclusive. No, maybe not. I'm trying to think of how to explain this Call of Cthulhu. It's not the Dark Corners of the Earth one. It's the I don't even know how to explain it. Has anybody else played this? The Call of Cthulhu I'm talking about?
I think so. This is the original one, right?
It's well, I wouldn't say original because there's the Dark Corners of the Earth came out before it. It's the one where you go to what's the name of the island?
Is this the 2018 version?
I think it's 2018. Sounds about right. Yeah, probably.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Fear then.
I recognize the box art, but I would go Fear all day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm wasting so much time talking about Call of Cthulhu because I'm 100% going Fear either way. Fear is a phenomenal masterpiece. Call of Cthulhu is okay, but it's got nothing on Fear in my opinion.
There's better Lovecraftian horror games.
Yeah, which I
aka
didn't
Bloodborne.
include. Well, yeah, I did include one of them because I felt like it was too actiony, like way too much action. But I'll talk about that later. The Sinking City is the one I did include.
Oh.
Yeah,
I would have put that on here. I
Well,
think that deserved a spot, but
you-
that's fair. I understand it is very actiony.
I was waiting for you guys to one of you guys to recommend it because if one of you guys recommended it, I would have added it. I just didn't want to make the decision
I
on my own.
recommended the entirety of COD Zombies, so I have no ground to stand on.
Yeah, I did not take that recommendation at all, as you can tell.
I saw that. I was like, no.
But hey, someone in the chat like brought up the Red Dead Redemption zombies thing. So
Yeah.
obviously, maybe I made the wrong call about not including stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Fear. Anybody else want to comment on this one?
Fear. The only real, I think, objective negatives of Fear are maybe a little bit of a lack of enemy variety and a little lack of location variety, but the rest of it is just like a classic of its time.
Agreed.
Still fun to play.
Yeah. I personally like the second game better, but I still think the first game is a masterpiece too. I remember like having nightmares during the iconic ladder scene with the Alma. So I remember I remember that game like perfectly. But I still like the second one better.
Second or third best shotgun in a game.
Ooh, yeah,
Oh,
good shot.
nice. Okay. Everybody good there?
Yep.
Move on to matchup
so.
number 40, Signalis versus
Yes.
Layers of Fear. So you have, I think it won Indie Game of the Year, right? Signalis did when it released, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I feel like it won Indie Game of the Year when it released. And it definitely deserved it versus Layers of Fear. Now, for the record, Layers of Fear, I am focusing on the remake / re-release of it because it includes all the stories of Layers of the Fear. So I feel like it was just easiest just to include that instead of just the first game. So
Yeah.
this is the re-release of Layers of Fear that includes Layers of Fear 1, Layers of Fear 2, and the DLCs. But despite saying that, as much as I love Layers of Fear, I am a huge fan of Signalis. So I got to go with Signalis.
Yeah. I'll defend Layers of Fear 1 quite a bit, but I can't give it to Layers of Fear.
Signalis is my favorite game in the I Miss My Wife genre.
This one's pretty lopsided for me. I mean, it's just like no question. Signalis is one of the few modern survival horror games to be so good that I can actually include it with like the original Silent Hill trilogy and the original Resident Evil games.
Damn, it's high praise. Conjured,
Yeah, Signal the same.
Cool. Moving on, matchup 41. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem versus Poppy Playtime, which is a really weird matchup. But I mean, it's a huge W for Eternal Darkness, in my opinion. For anybody that's played Eternal Darkness, I think you guys would probably agree. I think it has one of the coolest sanity meters I've ever seen. In video games in general. It's one of the coolest mechanics. If you know, you know. Just to kind of explain like what it does this thing where if your sanity meter gets filled, it starts playing tricks on you, the player. So like it'll pretend to turn off the TV or turn the volume down or have like bugs crawl on the screen or like random shit, and it's really, really cool. Granted, some of these mechanics work better when you had those old school TVs, because obviously you can tell that your like flat screen TV doesn't have the old school like mute button on the screen like the old stuff did. But so it definitely worked better for its time. But still, it's a really, really cool mechanic, and I love this game. So Eternal Darkness, Entity's Requiem by a long shot.
My daughter is really into Poppy Playtime, but there's no way. There's no way that can make it out of the tournament.
This matchup is hilarious. We have the NFT selling cash grab game versus one of the most unique horror games ever made.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like,
I can tell you firsthand though just how popular. I mean, the Poppy Playtime.
Poppy Playtime is crazy popular.
I'm gonna be honest. I would not be shocked if Poppy Playtime somehow won this.
It depends on what
I
the
wouldn't be either,
algorithm
and it would
gives
hurt
the
me.
polls out to. Yeah,
Yeah.
Poppy Playtime could dominate. Yeah.
Agreed.
We can skew this if Mayo and I make polls for Eternal Darkness. We could skew it because my YouTube age range is 24 to like 35. So
Yeah.
Fair.
Sure. I don't know
Let's do this.
I don't know shit about Poppy Playtime, but
keep it that way.
It
Keep it that way.
was pretty cool, so I'll give it to that.
All right, fair. Conjure, what you got, man?
Yeah, same Eternal. Not a huge fan of mascot horror.
Cool. Mascot horror.
I'm only voting for it because it has
Five
the
Nights?
word eternal in it.
Eternal.
Did
So
nobody
next
else
matchup.
get that?
I did it.
Oh no!
I did it. I missed it. Help us out here.
Give me a turtle joke.
Yeah, I said I only voted for it because it has eternal in the name.
Number 42 matchup. We got Singularity versus Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth. So I've never played Singularity. What you
Great
call
game.
it?
I love Singularity.
Well, Starlight was actually the one that actually recommended this game.
I
so it was not going to be on here until Starlight told me about it. So Singularity versus Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth. Obviously, I've never played Singularity. I look into it. It's actually like really, really praised. A lot of people love it. That being said, I'm a huge fan of Dark Corners of the Earth, especially the Lovecraft horror vibes of it. I think it's one of the best Lovecraftian horror games out there, outside of Bloodborne, of course. Although that also adds in like Bram Stoker to it too. But whatever. Dark Corners of the Earth. I gotta go with that one. But that's mainly because I haven't played Singularity. Starlight, I'll let you go next since you suggested Singularity for this list.
Singularity is one of my top 5 games in history. I love this game. It is the one and only game I rented from GameFly, if any of you remember that game.
Yeah.
And I
I have
kept the
GameFly.
disc until they went out of business, so I just still have the GameFly version of this game.
Gameplay's not out of business.
They've evolved.
Okay, well they stopped caring about their late fees at some point.
Very
Game-
good.
Gameplay's still a thing. People still use Gamefly. I use Gamefly every now and then. I use it for my RPG because ever since I started a second channel, Fantasy Kingdom, I can't buy like every single JRPG out there. There's like hundreds of them out there.
Nice.
So I use
that
Gamefly
makes
to play
sense.
all the JRPGs.
I
for
genuinely
the
thought they
channel.
went out of business.
No, they're still around. I still
What?
use them for my JRPGs.
I haven't received a bill from them in like 3 years.
Well, I'm with you on the game. I love the game too. I got it physically like a year or two ago as I've been building up my like retro collection. So
Nice. Anybody else want to comment on this one?
I wish I could.
Yeah,
Singularity looks cool, but I don't.
I got one more thing to add.
Go for it.
You know how I was talking up the BioShock twist at the end of BioShock? This game's twist is better.
Interesting. Okay, I gotta play it apparently. So this is a sci-fi horror, right?
Yes. It's written by the guy who wrote Black Ops 3 Zombies.
yeah, made by Raven.
and it's made by Raven, who is in the Call of Duty mines now.
Well, that really just screams action to me. So now I'm like, am I really gonna like this?
It's closer to something like on the vibes of Dead Space 2 or like the middle era Wolfenstein games than it is horror, but it has more existential dread vibes than it does horror vibes. But I
All right.
still think it's scary enough to warrant being on here.
Cool. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. Definitely gotta check it out. Add it to a list of games that I need to play. We're gonna like kind of rapid fire a lot of these just so we can speed up the time because we're way over
Makes sense.
the amount of time that I was gonna do.
Yeah.
So we'll stop on some like the big ones, like the good matchups. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just name a matchup. If you want to say something about it, just let me know, okay? So Amnesia: The Dark Descent versus the Callisto Protocol. For me, I'm gonna go Dark Descent by a long shot. I think Dark Descent is one of the best horror games of all time. What do you guys got on this one?
I agree.
Amnesia.
I'm not even really a fan of Amnesia.
I
but
don't like both of these games though.
Callisto Protocol is like awful. So
Same. As Kenneth just said, Callisto Protocol in the chat. He's like, damn it.
Sorry, Kenneth.
Sorry, Kenneth.
buddy.
Matchup number 44, The Forest versus House of the Dead. I've never been a House of the Dead fan. I only include
House
on
of the
here because
Dead
it's one
all
of the
the
most.
way.
See, I knew you guys were gonna. Oh
yeah.
god. I'm sorry. I gotta go with The Forest. I'm not a fan of arcade like games like that. So I'll go with The Forest, but I might be in the minority here, honestly.
House of the Dead.
I'd go
for me
with
too.
I'd go with you, The Forest.
Nice. And May, you said House of the Dead.
Yeah, I love House of the Dead.
Figured. I honestly thought I was gonna be the only one, so at least I got a podcast with me. Matchup number 45, we got Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, as it's the only original game that beat a remake in the polls, which is unsurprisingly to anybody. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis versus Sweet Home, which old school game.
RE versus RE. Okay.
Kind of, when you think about it. But yeah, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, a long shot here. Don't get me wrong, Sweet Home inspired the survival horror genre pretty much. But yeah, Resident Evil 3 all the way.
I agree with Resident
I
Evil 3.
agree. Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Cool.
Favorite
All right,
of
so
my favorite of the trilogy for me.
Really?
Preach.
I actually just did a
Yes.
video where I said
It's my
I
favorite
love
too.
Resident Evil
Same, yep.
3
It's
Nemesis,
definitely my
but
favorite.
I felt like most people view it as the weakest entry of the trilogy. I know. I think it's one of the strong. I love Resident Evil 3 Nemesis,
It
but I
has
feel like
the
a lot of
best
people view it
gameplay
as
by
the,
far the original 3.
It's still
Yeah.
a very popular game. It's just maybe the least popular of the three, but that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that it's like the underdog. Like it's still a really popular, loved game.
for sure. Okay, so we're gonna slow it down a little bit on this next one because this is the thumbnail one. This is the one that I felt like was going to be probably the biggest poll, and I'm looking forward to this one when the poll gets posted on this one because this one's gonna be a close race. I feel like it's Alien Isolation versus The Evil Within 2. Who wants to go first on this one? Any volunteers?
Well, I'll go gut feeling Alien Isolation just because of the unlocking, more of like the tech side, right? That as you go, the alien, they literally in the coding, the alien unlocks the ability of being able to be smarter, right? They literally hide the smarts of it through coding. So I feel like, I mean, I love the Evil Within 2, but that is some technology that we just don't, you know what I mean? Like enemies that kind of progressively just get smarter with you. That just feels really unique. So I would go. And now we're getting Alien Isolation 2. So I'll go with 1.
Hyped about that for sure. I'll go next then. Yeah, I'm back and forth. I think I really, really love the gameplay of The Evil Within 2. Like, I think the first game did a lot of things better than The Evil Within 2, except for the gameplay. The gameplay is one of the things that The Evil Within 2 completely like dominated on. I love the gameplay of The Evil Within 2.
Hold
Oh
on.
my god. Come on, dude. I agree. The atmosphere, everything else, like the environment, stuff like that, the story, The Evil Within 1. But the gameplay of Evil Within 2, it just feels more smooth, in my opinion. You don't believe that?
Just because it's smoother doesn't mean it's like better.
I didn't say it was bad. I just said it's the only thing that did right, like compared to the first game.
We're over time. I don't want to get into this. This is going to be a discussion.
I mean, I will say Alien Isolation, The Evil Within 2 is the thumbnail, so I'm fine spending a good amount of time on this one specifically.
It's just,
but yeah,
I don't know why I'm going to die on this hill. I'm going to vote for Alien Isolation. I think it's a better game.
I mean,
between both of them.
that's where I was going with this. I didn't get around to going there.
Sorry,
I was
sorry for
going to
interrupting you.
choose Alien
Yeah, sorry about
Isolation.
that.
No, I agree. Alien Isolation should win this one, in my opinion. The AI for the Xenomorph and Alien Isolation is still to this day the best like AI in terms of stalker enemies in a horror game. I think it's terrifying how good the AI of the Xenomorph is in Alien Isolation. I think it's one of the scariest horror games out there. I mean, it checks off the box, like all of the boxes that you would expect from a sci-fi horror, a good sci-fi horror / survival horror / hide and seek stealth horror game. It checks all those boxes, and it's just a phenomenal game. It's a masterpiece. I think it might be even in my top 5 horror games of all time. I love Alien Isolation. So yeah, I would go with Alien Isolation too. Despite how I started when I was talking about Evil Within 2, I was just saying Evil Within 2 has a lot of really cool gameplay aspects of it, and I really enjoy Evil Within 2. But yeah, Alien Isolation is the better game in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the Xenomorph is actually the best stalker enemy we've had since OG Nemesis.
I think he's better than
Yeah.
OG Nemesis.
I think
I
he's
think
better
it's
than
the
OG
best,
Nemesis too.
to be
Yeah, I don't think there's a better
OG
stalker
Nemesis
than
is
Xenomorph.
much more scripted than the Xenomorph is.
Yeah,
They just hide it really well in that game.
I mean, hot take. I would, and I know Mayo's getting ready to like pounce on me right here,
Uh-oh,
but
I know what you're gonna say.
I would say the Mr. X in the remake of Resident Evil 2 is better than OG Nemesis in my opinion. So I mean, but I do agree that the Xenomorph is number 1 stalker enemy out there in my opinion.
I object to the premise.
I figured.
Of the entire list, this is the one game that's arguably not a video game. It's a door opening simulator.
Wait,
Of Alien Isolation?
you're talking about Alien
Yeah.
Isolation right now?
Yes.
Oh my god.
This is the one game. This is the one title that doesn't deserve to be on the list because it's not a video game.
Oh
There's
my
combat. There's like
god.
legitimate combat.
Mayo,
There's
Hellblade is
survival
on here.
horror elements. Yeah, Hellblade doesn't like Hellblade has less combat
Hellblade's
than
on here, and it
Alien
is as much of a game as Alien
All the
Isolation
horror-
is.
Okay,
all the-
calm down.
all the horror walking simulators like Amnesia, the
It is a-
Penumbra,
it-
all
it-
those
it is-
games have less combat than Alien Isolation.
It is a digital space
Oh my god.
where you press QTEs to open doors and match shapes on
You literally
little,
fight, though.
on little devices.
I feel like you
that
just
are-
explained
that-
parts of Resident
that-
Evil 4 just now.
that,
I mean,
that are you solve air quotes puzzles that are as complex as the puzzles you would give to your little child in the dentist's office lobby to get them to shut up.
oh my god.
And the alien AI in quotes is laughable. The alien itself is goofy looking as it walks around, and you defeat him
Okay,
at the
that
end.
I agree with.
You
I agree
defeat
with
him at
that.
the end with by pressing a QTE after an 8-minute walking sequence. Not a video game, doesn't deserve to be on the list.
Do you
I will
like
vote-
God of War?
I will vote The Evil Within 2.
I mean, I respect
an
you.
hour-
I have no problem with you picking Evil Within 2 over Alien Isolation. There's nothing wrong with that. I just cannot believe you're telling me you're saying with a straight face that Alien Isolation is less of a game than games like Amnesia, Visage, which is on here too.
I will
Mouthwashing.
I will say that just out of disrespect for Alien Isolation, worst game I've played maybe in the last 10 years.
I guess I
An
think I
absolute-
found the guy who
Okay.
reviewed
thing it
Alien
came out
Isolation
11.
on
Wait.
IGN.
in absolute disgrace. The IGN score is too high. It shouldn't have even qualified for review. And
my God.
this company should be sued for fraud. And I have an hour video on it on my YouTube channel if you guys want to watch it.
I want to back up Mayo here for a second. So I get exactly where he's coming from. All the reasons he hates this game are the same exact reasons I hate walking simulators. I find the alien very engaging, and that's why I like this game. But if the alien AI wasn't so engaging for me, Mayo doesn't like it, that's fine. We just disagree on that aspect of the game.
It's fine.
But if the alien wasn't as good as it is in this game, I would hate this game. It would be so boring because the puzzles are not that good. There's very
agree with
little to
that.
engage with outside of the art design because the plot is very thin for this game. There's not any engaging boss fights or enemies. The alien carries this game on its back, which is fine because it's an alien game. But if you don't like that part of the game or it didn't work for you, I get hating this game 100%.
Right, but that same logic is like saying, okay, well, like let's picture Resident Evil 3 Nemesis without Nemesis. You know, that's literally the same exact like concept. That's kinda being thrown out there.
No,
That
that's
game
what-
has way more enemies. It
Well, no, I
has
get
other
that, but I'm
survival
saying-
horror elements to engage with. It has harder puzzles.
It's got
I mean-
better map design. It's got exploration.
yeah.
It's got challenging puzzles.
Yep.
Okay.
It's got a good story in the front. You don't have to read 100 slow-moving consoles to get any idea of what the hell's going on. No.
Okay, that's like 90% of the Amnesia games, though. Like you have to read
I don't.
a shit
that's what
ton.
I'm-
And
that's
then
what
you
I'm
can-
saying.
I don't really like the Amnesia games other than the bunker.
Yeah. If
I like
if
the
the
gameplay.
Amnesia games had like a really good stalker enemy throughout all of them, like on the par with
You
the
know
alien,
what? That is a perfect.
Then,
I'm
yeah.
glad you brought that up, Mayo. The bunker, Amnesia the bunker, is the exact same thing as Alien Isolation almost. Like you
Right,
have
that's-
one
I
main
think
enemy.
it's better because the puzzles are better.
The title of my Amnesia the Bunker review is Amnesia the Bunker is Alien Isolation but good.
I'm so lost. I feel like they're. Listen,
I
bro,
like
don't-
Alien Isolation. I completely understand where Mayo is coming from with his argument. I totally get it as someone that hates walking sim games.
And I am obviously exaggerating for comedic effect, but
I love it.
absolute-
It's fun.
I do
What? No.
absolutely
Everything you say is serious.
hate this game. Yes.
Real quick, thank you, Ali Liz, for the gifted membership. Congratulations to I'm not gonna
Yo,
pronounce her name
Ali.
correctly. Ali Liz, respect. Love to see you here always. Legend, queen herself. Yeah. So we're all in agreement. Alien Isolation moves on. Got it. No. I understand. I get the nitpicks about Alien Isolation. Truly, if you don't like the xenomorphs, the AI of the xenomorph, and it's not for you. Then
Hey, do you
you're gonna
remember
hate the
the
entire game?
Do you remember the part where the guy calls you and he tells you what switches to press to get out of the room before you die? And the order to the switches was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, clicking them in order across the room. That was great, wasn't it?
I forgot about that.
Again, I'm not rooting for
Remember-
Alien Isolation because of the puzzles. I'm rooting for
remember
Alien
when he had to-
Isolation because of the AI of the
Remember
xenomorph.
when you had to put the small circle inside the big circle?
I know we're not talking about how easy the puzzles are. When Resident Evil 2, the OG, has some of the easiest puzzles known in survival horror games. I mean, what was it? The hardest
there-
one in that game was, I think, the Jack, the Queen, and the King representing 11, 12, and
Do you do them 40 times while also mashing QTEs to open every door? I don't think you
I'm
do.
just saying.
I'm gonna go with Ethan here and say, aren't you guys on a time crunch?
Okay.
yeah, we're
I-
supposed
to.
This has been derailed. This has been derailed. I'm
All
sorry.
right. Well, this is the thumbnail, so it's
This
okay
is
to
the
spend a good amount of
thumbnail,
time on
yeah.
this. Yeah. So no problem.
You,
spending a
you
good amount of time
invited
on that one.
you invited the guy with the most popular video on YouTube shitting on this game. So, yeah.
Also, I'm not on a time crunch.
Yeah, I don't have anywhere to be. I just didn't want to keep you guys here more than 2 hours, and we're going on 2.5 now. So I feel
That's
really
fine
bad.
by me.
But we're getting close to the end now. We're near the end now. Number 47 matchup: Dino Crisis 2 versus Haunted Ground, which I think is actually a really good matchup. Listen, Dino Crisis 2, love the game, fantastic game. I think I'm gonna go with Haunting Ground, and I know that's a huge hot take, but I love Haunting Ground. I think Dino Crisis 2 is a little too action for me. I like the original game better than the second game actually. What do you guys got on this one?
I
I
love
haven't
Dino
played.
Crisis.
On the ground and pick DC too.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm going
good.
Dino Crisis.
I figured.
I'm gonna skip.
We're gonna skip. Oh man, I can't believe you haven't played Dino Crisis.
Yeah, just the demo of the first.
They're on
one.
GOG. You got it.
I know. I need to. I do.
You can play it after you play Code Veronica next week.
Oh God. Yep. I will.
Matchup number 48. We got Resident Evil Revelations versus Dying Light. Oh wait,
Wait,
is
we already
this
did,
Revelations 1?
Is this supposed to be
Hold on.
Revelations 2?
This should be two,
No,
'cause we
which
did one
makes
already.
me. Let me go back to Revelation. The other Revelation. That might have been
My
Revelations.
answer
2
could be the
then.
same either way. So
Yeah, so the last one we did was actually Revelations 2. I didn't hover over it to get it. So yeah, so this is actually Revelations 1. The last one, I don't think anything switches on the Revelations 2. What were they going up against? Parasite Eve 2, yeah. I mean, that's not gonna change anything for me.
Same answer, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways,
Sorry,
Revelations 1
Revelations.
this time. Revelations 1 against Dying Light. I'm actually gonna go with Dying Light on this one.
Same.
I love
Yep,
Dying
same.
Light so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Such a good game.
Parkour.
Dying Light 2, on the other hand.
Yeah, we don't talk. That's why that's not on here actually. So,
Dying
Can't-
Light.
Can't stand Dying Light. I'll vote for the other one.
okay.
Why?
I have a I'm not going to derail the podcast. I have a short.
Do you have a
I
video
have a
about
short. I have a short video on it. You might find it entertaining.
I'll go
Mayo,
watch
I'm
that
just
after.
gonna plug like your hot take videos like in this
Go for it.
stream because I
Dying
mean
Light
you I swear to
a fun
God
video.
you have like a hate video on almost every single entry on this fucking list. It's not even funny and I love it.
Mayo's God of War video is nothing but facts.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I like Dying Light parkour all the way. And then you got Doom Buggy in the following, so love it.
I'm curious what you guys will think about my Dying Light video. Feel free to
I'm
message
gonna
me
go watch
later.
that after this.
I'm more curious about this Alien Isolation video, but
Oh.
I will say
What
Dying
about
Light would be better without RPG elements.
All right, so here's a really tough battle, guys. Matchup number 49, Resident Evil 4. By the way, this is remake. It did beat the original game. Resident Evil 4 remake versus Puppet Combo's Murder House. Clearly Resident Evil 4, right?
What a matchup.
Yeah.
I mean,
RE4.
all right. Do you have
Or
anything you want to say
Combo.
about remake RE4, Mayo?
Far superior combat, maybe inferior other aspects, and I understand that argument. But the combat, man,
It's so good.
The
Oh, that
expanded
knife. God.
the expanded exploration, the parry mechanic, the semi-open world lake section, just the rebalancing of the weapons. I love it. Love it.
Luber team, this is how you expand exploration in your game.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even going back there again. I'm not.
I had to. It was the fruit was on the end of the branch. I had to do it.
I swear you're trying to start drama.
I am.
Matchup number
It engages
50.
chat.
Number 50 matchup. So we got 14 more matchups. So we got System Shock versus Amnesia the Bunker. Massive fan of System Shock. I've only played the remake. I think it's a remake. Yeah, the remake of it, 2023 version of it. Never played the original. Heard the remake is actually better though. So that's good. But Amnesia the Bunker, I mean, that's my favorite Amnesia game. I love it just because it includes more survival horror elements to it instead of just being a walking simulator like every other horror or every other Amnesia game. The Bunker actually has a lot more survival horror elements to it. And for that reason, and I like the semi-open world that the Bunker has, even though it's small, but still a semi-open world. So I got to go with Amnesia the Bunker.
I'm gonna second you on that. Amnesia the Bunker is top tier for me of horror games. It's just a fucking masterpiece.
Right. For sure.
Also good for Amnesia.
Thanks.
Yeah, same.
And same.
All on the same page. Like it. Doesn't happen often. Matchup number 52 or 51. I almost skipped over a big one. This is a pretty big one. And I know my boy Podcast here is probably not happy about this matchup.
This one's a tough one. I don't know how this happened.
The Last of Us versus Until Dawn. So
Come on.
yeah, I know Podcast now is a huge. I mean, so when I first reached out to you, Podcast, you told me that you're gonna rep Until Dawn hardcore. That you love Until Dawn. You're a huge fan of Until Dawn. I'm sure when you told me that, you didn't know it was gonna go up against The Last of Us. So yeah, this one probably breaks your heart a lot. I love Until Dawn. I think it's the best of those narrative driven horror games out there. Like, I don't think anything comes even close to it in its own genre. That being said, I mean, you're talking about The Last of Us here. Like, The Last of Us arguably has probably one of the best stories in a horror game ever created. It's phenomenal. It's a masterpiece. It's really, really hard to not pick The Last of Us here, so I have to go with The Last of Us.
Can I now? I can cope. I can cope a little bit and say, The Last of Us. Like, if I'm gonna only grade this one somehow and not the other 150 based off just the horror, the actual genre it's in, The Last of Us, amazing story, but father-daughter, the road type thing, right? It's like that. So, I mean, the gameplay's great. The enemies are scary, and especially back then too. But Until Dawn, okay, in terms of what's the better horror game, I think I would actually say Until Dawn. It does the meta, has the scream elements, all that jazz. So if we're only grading it on like, it fitting in the genre, which is the better game, it's The Last of Us. I'd say like period. But Until Dawn, I'll still cope and say that's the better horror game.
Okay. Some people in the chat actually agree with you. They said those exact words. Dead Red
Good.
Villas. The Last of Us is a better game, but Until Dawn is better at horror. So
I
that's
think,
actually
I think that's how you have to. Yeah, that's how you have to do it for this one.
not a bad way to kind of cope with Until Dawn and passing The Last of Us. So I see the take on there. For sure.
I feel like I may agree with you guys if I had played it, but I have not played Until Dawn, and I do like The Last of Us, so I'll give it.
Don't play the remake.
Don't play the remake. Okay.
Which one?
Of Until Dawn.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say about Amnesia the Bunker. If anyone wants to check it out, I have an hour-and-a-half interview with the director of Amnesia the Bunker on my channel. I'm gonna post it to you guys right here in the chat. Everyone listen to it. It's great.
Ellie Liz, thank you for another gift of membership. Appreciate you.
Ellie.
Ween in the chat for sure. Yeah, we'll definitely check it out. If you want to post it in the chat so anybody in the stream too, the stream chat, feel free to.
Here it is. Interview with the director of the bunker.
Conjured and Starlight, you guys are up.
I already said The Last of Us.
Oh, did you? Man, you're like a sneaky assassin, man. You go throw your answer and then try to hide from all the drama and stuff.
Sneaky assassin.
Yes, sir. That's me.
All right, Starlight, what do you got?
I'm voting for Until Dawn. I love horror movies, and I think I missed the boat on The Last of Us hype, despite the fact that I played it when it came out. It's just never grabbed me, ever, like it has other people. So I'm going to go with Until Dawn. It's one of my favorite, like, just straight up horror. I categorize it more under horror movie than I would game because of the type of game it is.
Yeah.
But I love it.
That's fair.
Totally fair. So we're kind of split on that, actually. So was it podcast and Starlight went Until Dawn, and then me, Conjured, and Mayo went Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
Pretty split. Nice. Cool. Chat seems to lean towards Last of Us, but we'll see what the poll does. I am looking forward to that matchup because it is a really good. It is both fantastic games. I'm sad that they're going up against each other.
Stay in line. Everybody's got to stay in line to that vote. I'm telling you. Because Until Dawn's going to be able to get it.
Oh, we'll see. Matchup number 52, Resident Evil 0 versus The Bridge Curse. I'm a huge defender of The Bridge Curse. I actually loved it. Liked the second game a lot too, but I think the first game is superior. It's a horror walking simulator, so I know, Starlight, you're going to want to lean away from it, but Resident Evil 0.
I don't want to vote for RE0, so I'm just going to abstain.
All right. I'm still going to go with RE0 though. I actually really love RE0 despite, some of the complaints about some of the mechanics and stuff about it. So, but I'm still going to go Resident Evil 0, not just because I'm a Resident Evil fan. Just honestly, it's probably because I'm a huge Rebecca Chambers fan. So that's mainly what's really doing it.
Yep, I'll go RE0.
Cool.
Yeah, same.
Have you played this game, Mayo?
Yeah, technically numbered entry.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I bought the GameCube for the remake, and then Zero came out, and so I played it. But I only played it then, so it's been 20 years.
Damn,
so
really?
I know I liked it back then, even though RE0's when it went off the rails with the singing opera guy controlling leeches, and I didn't like that aspect of it, but I have a lot of nostalgia for it. I worry I may not like it that much if I play it now, which I need to, but from my 20-year-old memory of it, for the nostalgia I have for it, I'll go with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Anybody else want to comment on this one?
Nope.
Cool. All right, matchup 53. I feel bad for this one. Dead Space. Oh, by the way, this is the remake. The remake won the poll, the preliminaries. So Dead Space remake versus Daymare 1998. I'm not gonna even explain my reasoning for this. Dead Space remake is one of the best horror games of all time, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go Dead Space remake.
Yeah.
Best
remake ever.
Yeah. We'll see.
Dead Space, great remake. Very fun.
Phenomenal.
Don't like the twist at the end, but I love the rest of the game.
Yeah.
You know what? That's fair. That is fair.
I would say the remake also kind of made it a little bit more predictable, in my opinion. But yeah.
I don't like Nicole. Nicole's a very boring person compared to the original Nicole.
I mean,
I agree.
the opposite can be said about Isaac, though. Isaac is much more interesting since he actually talks
Yeah.
now. So
Sure.
I love that they brought his voice actor
Yeah,
back. I love them
facts.
so much for that.
I'll agree. All right, moving on. Conjure, did you want to throw your answer out there real quick? All right, cool. Silent Assassin, always. Matchup 54, Darkwood versus Pathologic. So I think these are two criminally underrated horror games, actually. Darkwood, I wouldn't say that's actually criminally underrated. I think that was like a huge like indie horror game that was like a lot of people were obsessed with when it first came out. Pathologic, I felt like kind of went more under the radar, I feel like. But yeah, I think Darkwood takes this by a mile. I love Darkwood. It's a masterpiece.
I've not played these, so I'll abstain.
Me either.
Same.
Should
I played a little bit
Darkwood
of
specifically.
It was good. Yeah, Darkwood's good.
Okay. Next one, matchup 55. This is a weird matchup. Mouthwashing versus Dead by Daylight. So we got psychological horror versus asymmetrical horror. So I actually did my top like horror games of last year. I think Mouthwashing was actually my second favorite horror game of last year. Not to say that there wasn't really a ton of great, fantastic horror games last year. It was mainly all indie horror. But Mouthwashing was my second favorite horror game of the year. That being said, Dead by Daylight is literally like on a whole other level. It's the new Left 4 Dead essentially. Like it is completely taken over the asymmetrical horror environment. Like there's no other asymmetrical horror game that can compete with Dead by Daylight right now. Every time someone comes out with one, Killer Clowns, Texas Chainsaw, The Evil Dead, Friday 13th, they all get their ass kicked.
There's a reason.
There's
I'll let Conjured.
one reason alone.
Is it the IPs?
Licensing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's fine. I mean, that's cool. It's a great, I mean, like we all love Super Smash Bros. For the same reason. Like they get to bring a whole bunch of different like iconic video game characters into the same thing. I mean, the combat, okay, fine. But I'm just saying, like, you know, it's a really cool aspect that they do. They bring a lot of different characters from different video games and movies all into one place. You don't get that.
I've heard great things about Mouthwashing, and now you're included onto that. But yeah, Dead by Daylight, I honestly feel like it's just reached elite status. I feel it's a very, very special game. I genuinely do love that game, so I would go Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, I go Dead by Daylight. Mouthwashing, phenomenal masterpiece, but Dead by Daylight. What did you guys Conjured? It seems like you were leaning towards Mouthwashing, are you?
No,
The
I'm
way you
leaning towards DBD, but I don't think it was the best asymmetrical. That goes.
I didn't say
Friday
that.
the 13th for me.
I didn't say that. I think Left 4 Dead is the best asymmetrical horror game of all time. I said currently it's probably like it's kind of taken over like
I
the
meant with that whole
genre.
scenery with the whole 4v1 type of. I think Friday the 13th was better, way better.
I actually think Texas
agree.
Chainsaw Hot Take is maybe the best one.
Texas
in terms
Chainsaw
of
is
the
also
gameplay.
better.
Texas is a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. The best asymmetrical horror game to me is Left 4 Dead. But
I don't consider that really the same genre though.
why?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
really
the
PvE.
definition of asymmetrical
It's more
horror is literally
PvE
like.
than Dead by Daylight is.
Well, no, they have verses though. The versus campaign.
It's not the main mode of it though, you know? The main
Yeah.
mode of it is co-op with friends. It does have a similar mode, but when I think of Left 4 Dead, I think of chilling with buddies, killing tons of zombies.
I guess, but still an
Four of us versus
asymmetrical
one other person.
definition of
No,
asymmetrical horror
you're
game.
right. You're right. I don't think of them together.
Eh.
Like up until right now, I've never heard them brought up together ever.
Either way, I think Dead by Daylight is the best asymmetrical horror game outside of Left 4 Dead. I know. You said, I think podcast you said Texas is better, and then I think Conjure you said, what was it? Friday the 13th.
That's a
RIP.
good one all on its own, honestly. That I've always wanted to do a video on too is asymmetrical horror games. But that's
I did.
beside the
I
point.
did. I have a top 10 best asymmetrical horror games out there. Spoiler: Left 4
Nice.
Dead is number 1 for me.
Nice.
But
Nice.
Dead by Daylight didn't really do anything for me. I guess I'm just not into the genre. But
Fair.
I use mouthwash, so I'll go with that.
yeah,
I would rather do mouthwashing. Yes.
then be Dead by Daylight. I imagine.
Then be Dead by Daylight.
So Di, I'll answer your question real quick and then we'll move on. So what is asymmetrical horror? It's pretty much basically it's asymmetrical is playing like two different styles of gameplay against each other at the same time. Asymmetrical horror is basically, you know, a horror version of that exactly what I just explained. So That's why you have like Dead by Daylight. You have 4 survivors going up against 1 killer. That's asymmetrical horror. Left 4 Dead, I consider asymmetrical horror on if you look at the versus campaigns, because you got 4 survivors versus 4 infected, etc. Stuff like that. Moving on to 56, getting close, guys. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more matchups, and then we're home free. Corpse Party versus Dino Crisis. I'm a huge fan of Corpse Party. I really am, but there's no fucking way I am choosing it over Dino Crisis. Sorry. So I gotta go Dino Crisis. Give us a remake,
Dino
Capcom.
Crisis. Agreed.
I never played the game, but I watched the anime. But I'd still pick Dino Crisis.
Yeah, anime's
I've
kind of
never
shit,
heard of
actually.
Corpse Party,
Ooh.
so I picked Dino Crisis.
I don't know Corpse Party either. I played the demo Dino Crisis, so I guess that wins.
Wasn't the demo Dino Crisis on Resident Evil 3 Nemesis or something like that? Or was it the other way around?
It was.
Okay.
That's how I played it.
There you go. All right, matchup 57, System Shock 2 versus Lethal Company. Lethal Company is pretty much the same, similar concept as Repo, where it's like a really popular horror game that you play with friends and stuff. And System Shock 2 to me is one of the best sci-fi horror games out there. And I love Shodan, so I got to go with System Shock 2. But that's because I've just never been a fan of like those Lethal Company Repo type games.
Yeah. I've seen Markiplier play Lethal Company, but besides that, I'd do System Shock 2.
Cool.
I'm gonna go with Lethal Company because
Ooh.
I've never felt more fear in a game than when I heard my friend's voice coming back at me, and
my
it was not
God, the
actually my friend
mimics.
speaking.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, the mimics! Yeah, it records your.
The mimics are so
partner's
scary.
Voices, yeah,
That's insane. Maybe I do have to try this game.
it's nuts.
Yeah, Repo doesn't have mimics. Lethal Company does, so it's better.
Got it. Noted.
Also, the funny dance.
Anybody else want to comment on this one? The funny dance.
Skip.
What's this,
skip me.
Fortnite? All right. Matchup 58, Silent Hill Shattered Memories versus Remothered Tormented Fathers. I love the story Shattered Memories. I know there's a lot of people that defend Shattered Memories. I know Ink Ribbon is a huge fan of Shattered Memories. That being said, Remothered Tormented Fathers, I actually have like it has a special place in my heart. I just like playing Remothered Tormented Fathers. I replay it a lot, despite it being a very simple game, honestly. So I'm gonna go Remothered Tormented Fathers. Come here, Eva.
I cannot stand Shattered Memories. I don't like anything about it other than the graphics and some of the music, and so I give it to whatever the other game is.
Remothered Tormented Fathers. Shattered Memories. I love the intro theme. That theme hits like hard.
Yeah, it's got some good music to it.
Yeah, for sure. Copyrights the hell out of you, but you know.
Can't stand the gameplay, can't stand the puzzles, don't like the story. So out.
Yeah. What about the rest of you guys? Anything you want to say here?
No opinion.
Remothered.
What'd you say, Contra?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I said Remothered. All right.
Okay. And
I've never
podcast?
played Remothered, and I don't mind Shattered Memories, but you guys won me over. I'll go with you.
Okay, Remothered. Next up, matchup 59. I know Starlight, I think it was actually bringing this one up for a while. Doki Doki Literature Club versus Clock Tower 3. So for me, this is easy, surprisingly. Mainly just because I'm a huge visual novel fan. But I know that's not for everybody. But Doki Doki Literature Club gets this one. But I will say, Clock Tower 3 is a fantastic stalker enemy like type of horror game. So if you're into that, Clock Tower 3 will be kind of fun. But yeah, I still think Doki Doki Literature Club is far superior in my opinion.
Masterpiece of a game. Love it. I go easily Doki Doki.
Yeah,
Free to play, by the way.
Oh, is it? Oh shit.
Yeah, it's free to play.
Okay.
Pretty sure it is.
Play tonight.
There you go.
Yeah, I see that. It is. Oh, I'll try it out. I've never played it.
The Steam tags for this game are the funniest thing ever because it's all like normal visual novel ones and then psychological horror. It's so fun.
It does some really weird fucking shit. Like it messes with I don't want to
spoil it.
Yeah.
You guys gotta play it. You just gotta play it. It's phenomenal. You're gonna be really fucking confused. Is all I'm gonna say. But
the Steam page says similar to games you've played, Resident Evil 4 and Village. What?
No, absolutely not. What the hell? That's hilarious.
Steam.
Great job,
Alright.
Steam. Great recommendation. Yeah. But no,
That's right.
I love Doki Doki Literature Club, and it's a really short game. It will only take you what, like a few hours to beat,
Oh,
I
no,
think.
I looked at the comments. Oh no.
I
Yeah.
think it's
No,
about
no, no,
4
don't look at the
hours-ish.
comments.
I
Don't.
didn't.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty short. Definitely play it. It's free to play. It doesn't cost you any money. Just play it.
Let's play it.
Yeah. All right, but anyways, what did everyone pick for this one? Sorry, I went Doki Doki.
Doki Doki.
Everyone did, right? I skip.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll pick it because I
Yeah.
haven't played Clock Tower 3 in a really long time. So
Cool. All right, so this next one's an interesting one, I think. Because someone here said that the first Alan Wake is apparently better than the second Alan Wake.
Damn right.
So you got Alan Wake versus Tormented Souls. So for me, this is not even close. I'm a huge fan of Tormented Souls. I will defend the hell out of that game. And if either one of you guys want to come for Tormented Souls, I'm ready. Because I think that is one of the best indie survival horror, like classic indie survival horror games. I don't know, is that still an indie team though? It is, right? Whatever the case, I think when that game was developed, it was an indie studio.
Mhm.
And I'm very much looking forward to the second game. But I think that's one of my favorite, like modern graphic, like modern class. I don't know how to explain, like modern classic style indie survival horror game. I love that fucking game. It's phenomenal.
Modern throwback.
There you go. Perfect. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. There you go. Modern throwback. I love that game. I love the mechanics of the game. Obviously, you know, the dialogue and the acting is pretty god awful. But hey, it's an indie game. Whatever.
That's part of the experience.
Exactly. But yeah, I love this game. And I will defend this game probably for a majority of this poll. Honestly, I just love it that much.
Look,
So.
buddy, no one's gonna come at you because they're gonna have to go through me first.
All right.
All right, I'm like,
Let's go.
the Tormented Souls is so impressive. It is the game that I always show when I say this is how you can modernize the classic survival horror formula.
Yeah.
When people say I don't like fixed camera or I don't like the controls, Tormented Souls did it. They modernized it. Sometimes it's fixed. Sometimes it moves with you. Sometimes it just rotates and follows you. The modern controls work perfectly. Puzzles are tough.
Probably
you
some of the
know,
most difficult puzzles in
and
survival
so-
horror games.
very
honestly.
tough puzzles.
They're
and you
extremely
don't-
fucking hard.
yeah, like, but they're well made. They're good puzzles, and it's just a really good game, and has a lot of potential for the sequel. Hopefully, they change the camera to be over the shoulder. Right?
They're not
guys,
no,
right,
no.
guys, right.
Well, first off, I would have want
Hopefully they
that.
add more exploration to this game.
So first
Yeah.
off, I wouldn't want that, and second of all, they've already announced it is gonna stay fixed camera, so you'll be happy to
Good.
know that
Good.
they confirmed that it is gonna. They're actually, I think they already have gameplay footage out on this game, so it looks fantastic. So I'm hyped.
I haven't played this game. It is on my list to play. I'm so excited to play it. I would like to
100%.
play it
Get
this
your ass
year.
around to playing it for sure.
I've said play it like 5 times in a row, but I have to vote for Alan Wake by default. I love that game, but I feel like I will like Tormented Souls better when I play it.
You will. I feel you being as hardcore of a Resident Evil fan as you are, I think you're gonna absolutely love
Yeah,
Tormented Souls
I'm
better
100%
than
sure.
the OG Alan Wake.
But I have to go play it.
All right. What about you, Conjured Podcast? What do you
oh,
guys
I
have?
agree. Tormented Souls.
Nice.
Well,
Podcast?
I'm
okay.
excited.
Well, if you're looking at it just from the, I'll do the cope again. Just the
There you
whole,
go.
you know, and this time I'll just be a hypocrite too because I'm gonna go the other way. So
Nice.
Alan
Let's
Wake is the
go.
worst. Yeah, and I don't really care what anybody says. So Alan Wake is the better to me. I mean, I'm a diehard. So and I was waiting for Alan Wake 2 since Alan Wake 1. So Alan Wake 1 would win, but it's actually not the best of the horror. So I'm gonna go reverse Until Dawn here.
Gotcha. Cool.
Fair.
There. Yeah. I will defend Tormented Souls constantly throughout this poll. It's gonna be fun. Like I think I would. I mean, looking at future matchups, I would literally take it probably all the way until like round 3 or 4.
I just saw the next matchup.
Yeah. All right. So next one, moving up, it's gonna be Dead Space 2 versus Slender, the 8 pages. So
What?
Well, this one's quick.
so
Yeah,
Dead
as you
Space
guys
2
know.
versus
I mean,
Coughing Baby.
Dead Space 2 for me.
Yes, we do. Come on.
Exploding babies. Let's go.
Oh
Dead
man.
Space 2.
Maybe the best action horror game ever made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I do love Dead Space 2. Trying to think of an action horror game I like better.
You could say
Resident Evil 4. Yeah, Resident Evil 4 is to me, like the gameplay side of it is just more fun to experience. But I think Dead Space 2 kind of captures that perfect middle ground between action and horror, I feel like. Okay. Anybody else want to comment on that one? Dead Space 2. Anybody else want to go with Slender 8 pages?
No.
I still have my iPod Touch where I first played that game.
Nice. So what you're saying is you like Slender the 8 pages better then, right?
Whoa. Let's not jump to
got it.
conclusions here.
Let's go ahead and make sure we note that, guys. Better than Starlight prefers 8 pages over Dead Space 2. Moving on. Matchup 62. Dredge versus Manhunt.
Ooh.
So you want
Manhunt's
to
on
go...
here?
It is, yes.
What's
Oh.
Dredge? I don't think I've heard of Dredge. I played Manhunt, but not Dredge.
Dredge was, I think it may have been, I don't know if it won, but I know for sure it was nominated for best indie game of the year it came out.
Oh, this
It's the
game,
one where
okay.
you're like in a boat. Hop on a boat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're in a boat, and you have like these like monsters coming out of like the ocean, especially like at nighttime. They're the worst, and they'll come and like fucking. Honestly, it's really hard to explain it and still sound like a horror game, but it's a horror game. For the most part, it's just not your typical horror game. Great game, but I don't think it has anything on Manhunt, honestly.
I love
That's a tough
Manhunt.
one. That's a tough one.
Manhunt is so jank and kind of ass in the best way possible.
Yeah.
It's one way to go about it.
I think too, it's like ratings and the controversy is kind of more fun. So
Mhm.
I guess I'll lean Manhunt.
Nice. Yeah, I know it got
It's canon to
banned as
GTA
well,
5.
dude. True. Rockstar.
Yeah.
Mayo, you got anything you want to add on that?
No, I sadly never played Manhunt. Always wanted to check it out, and
Play it.
Dredge, passed me by.
It's on Steam, I think, right? Think so.
Yeah, but there's thousands and thousands of games out there. It's just,
Yeah.
one to slip by.
I feel you. All right, last two matchups. Neither one are probably that exciting, but we got Resident Evil 7 versus White Day Elaborate Named School. Love White Day, criminally underrated, but I mean, yeah, Resident Evil 7, easy choice for me.
RE7 is my Doom Eternal, so
I'm gonna say that's a good thing. Then,
Yeah, I never
right?
played White Day.
it birthed my channel.
There we go.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Oh, I thought RE5 would have done that for you. How big of a fan
My
of
first
RE5?
video was RE7 weapons ranked, and it popped off massively, and that's why I made the RE5 one.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Good to
Cool.
know. Good to know. What did the rest of you guys say? Sorry.
I'll say RE7. I mean, I haven't played the other game, but RE7 is I'm kind of 50-50 on it. There's things I like and things I don't, but I definitely
Fair.
respect it for what it went
Yeah.
for. It was an important game in the series for sure, and it's at the end of the day, it's a good game.
Yeah, Capcom maybe make it to where you can skip cutscenes and might have a little bit more replayability to it, but
Capcom, add more bonus weapons. Let me use the axe from the prologue and the rest of the game. Thank you.
word. Noted. Anyone else want to comment on that one before we move on to the last matchup?
Easy RE7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Arguably one of the best VR horror games out there, unless you count Half-Life Alyx. I know that one's pretty good, but I still prefer RE7. Okay, number 64. Visage. I think that's how you pronounce it. Visage versus Hollow Body. So I teased this earlier. For those of you that are upset that PT is not on this list, PT's not here. But probably the closest, and arguably some people might make the argument that Visage might be the better version of PT. Visage is actually a really, really good horror walking simulator, and I love Hollow Body. It's a great indie horror game. I had a lot of fun playing it last year. I think it was last year. But Visage is truly a masterpiece in my opinion. I think it's one of the best of its genre, so I got to go with Visage. Terrifying game, by the way.
Yeah, I agree. As being a baby, that one is very, very scary. So I would vote that.
My vote is purely based off of the pictures of these games on Steam. Hollow Body looks awesome, and I am buying this game right now, so I'm gonna vote for Hollow Body.
Yeah, I mean, you probably would like it. It's very it's inspired by like old school Silent Hill, so
Yeah, I see that. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm picking Visage. That game does not hold your hand too.
yeah, it's it's good.
It's freaking difficult. Yeah.
Mayo, anything?
I haven't played Visage. I have it on my wish list actually. It looks really cool. And Hollow Body is. I found Hollow Body disappointing. I really respect what it goes for.
Mhm.
I just feel like it fumbles a lot of it. I have a video on it, but all respect to the guy who made it, and I think he's improved it a bit as well. And
Yeah.
it's not like I think it's a bad game, but it didn't really live up to what I was hoping for.
I agree with that.
Just because I have played it, and I love a game that goes for that sort of like
Nostalgia type of
Silent Hill style of feel. Not a lot of games go for Resident Evil. They don't typically.
It's
go
not
for
copied
Silent
that
Hill.
often.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, I respect the effort. So I'll go Hollow Body.
I will say in the defense of the Silent Hill like games trying to be more inspired by Silent Hill, it seems like that's kind of getting a new like wave of games that are starting to do that. Like Post Trauma seems to be leaning more towards that too. So it seems like there are more games that are starting to lean towards that, which I like because we get a lot of Resident Evil clones like you said, but we don't really get many Silent Hill clones, and so
you guys should check out my Hollow Body video when I go on the rant about the map. You'll enjoy that. It's pretty fun.
I was intrigued by the screenshot of the map on the Steam page, and now I'm more intrigued. I'm gonna wait to watch a video till after I play the game, though.
Yeah.
Probably a
find
good
it pretty
idea.
funny.
Mayo will probably be be
I
going
looked at the
hardcore on
map.
it.
I'm like, that's a Dead Space ass map. I was like, what on
Yeah.
earth?
I think my video's 15 minutes, and I think 3 whole minutes is just talking about the problems with the map.
Yeah, I like Hollow Body. I do. And
Yeah,
I
it's
do
cool, it's
I
cool.
do respect it, the developer, because it's a single person developer. I think. I do respect that they.
Oh God, no! The trouble that guy went through to make a game that looked like PS2 graphics when it's a lot easier to do something like PS1 style graphics.
Yeah.
But he went for a PS2 alone. The effort the guy put into
nailed
making
it.
that game alone is respectable.
Oh yeah, and then on top of that, like he's still updating the game too on his own. Like I mean, I think he made it to where they have over the shoulder mode now. I think available. I haven't played it yet like that, but I think they have over the shoulder mode available for Hollow Body now. So he's still updating the game, which I again, like I said, I respect, especially for a single developer.
Sure, very respectable game.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So that's pretty much it. We made it through the bracket. I know this literally went an hour longer than I was expecting, so 3 hours. Good news
Hey,
is
I
this
expected
is
it to take about 3 hours.
the good news is that this is going to be the longest one, obviously, of the entire time, because this bracket's going to be cut in half next time I host one of these streams. So you're not going to see another stream like this until we get through all of round one.
How many rounds are there?
There's a total. I mean, 1, yes,
2,
think
3,
5?
7.
4 to 5.
There's 7 rounds.
Oh, there's 7.
Oh God,
dang.
I'm gonna have to talk about Alien Isolation like 5 more times.
Yeah.
Or
You think
Silent
Alien
Hill 2
Isolation-
remake.
Yeah, there you go. Silent Hill 2
Or the
remake.
Silent Hill 2 remake. That's
Yeah.
like far, isn't it?
Oh,
Imagine
man,
there's
it's
an
right.
Alien Isolation Silent Hill 2 remake matchup.
Ooh.
I mean, it could be. Let's see how that looks. I mean, it's
God.
possible. I mean, Silent Hill 2 remake is where at on the poll? I know where Alien Isolation is. I don't see. Oh, here it is. Oh, they're not too far.
It would have to get super deep in for both of them for that to be
Yeah.
a matchup.
I can see it. I mean, maybe not so much Alien
That'd be so
Isolation.
funny.
I can see Silent Hill 2 remake making it pretty far just because it's recency bias and stuff. So I can definitely see it making pretty far. But yeah, so good news is, or the bad news, obviously this was like a really long podcast, so thank you guys for being here. Chat, thank you for being here. I'll cover a couple different things before we let everybody go. But just want to say a quick thank you to everybody for being here. Podcast Now, Better Than Starlight, Conjure Lion,
Thanks for having
and Under the Mayo. All of you guys, phenomenal having you on board here. I know this was 3 hours long. We are going to do this stream again. I don't know if all these people are going to be here. I don't know if we're going to have other new faces here as well. It's going to depend on, people's schedules and stuff. But good news is that, I mean, hopefully, ideally, the time's going to be cut in half next time because, half of these matchups are going to be eliminated. So it is, I'm excited. I can't wait to see how this goes. So for those of you guys curious, this tournament is going to start tomorrow. So I am posting 2 polls per day. It's going to be at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern time. And so they're going to be 12 hours apart. So we're going to have a poll or 2 polls going up per day so we can try to get through these round 1 matchups as fast as possible because there's 64 matchups. So that's a lot of matchups to get through. So by posting 2 of them a day, we can get through them faster. And then once we get through all round 1, I'll schedule another stream and we'll go over, the round 2 matchups while also maybe mentioning a little bit about, if we're upset about a certain game getting eliminated. Cough, cough until Don losing to The Last of Us. stuff like that. But yeah, so I guess before I let everybody go, do you guys want to go ahead and add anything about this bracket? Any controversial opinions about it? Anything that you guys are pissed aren't added to this bracket? You guys have anything you want to say about this tournament?
I just want to encourage people to vote in the bracket. If you think a game's not going to win, go vote for it.
Vote.
Because if everyone thinks it's not going to win, so they don't vote for it, guess what? That's less votes for that game. Less chance it wins. So go vote.
I regret not suggesting Nightmare Creatures.
Oh,
That'll be the big one. That's the one that's really missing for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I almost put it on here, and I came close. I was between Countdown Vampires and Nightmare Creatures, and I went with Countdown Vampires for some reason. I think just because it has more classic Resident Evil vibes to it, and that's why I like it. But yeah, no. Honestly, probably should have had it on here. That's on me. It's on all of you guys too for not suggesting it, but it's on me too.
it's all good.
But yeah. So you guys, so I'm only gonna be posting the polls on my channel for now. As we get later into the tournament, you guys are free to start posting the polls on your channel too. I just don't want you guys doing it anytime soon because again, 64 matchups, meaning I'm posting twice a day. Don't want you guys to get involved with that. It's a lot of extra work. But as we get closer, maybe like round 3, round 4, if you guys want to start posting the polls on your channel, you can. Just let me know. So that way we can add your votes to my votes so I can make sure I go check them before I finalize the winner of the poll. And then
I'm down. Just feel free to coordinate that with me whenever.
Yeah, for sure. And just tell your community, to come vote, especially if there's a poll that you guys feel specifically strong about. Like say if one of you guys don't like Silent Hill 2 remake at all, make sure you tell your community to come and vote against them.
No, my chat will cook me if I bring if I don't like Silent Hill 2 remake.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to the family, son.
But yeah, guys. So thanks again joining me. Guys, thank you for joining the live stream. I know this was a long one, probably one of my longest ones, unless you're counting like gameplay streams. But it was a lot of fun. Huge blast. Can't wait to see how this tournament plays out. I'm really, really hoping a non-Resident Evil game wins just to kind of make things interesting. But, it is what it is. I'm excited either way. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining the live stream. Thank you so much for joining the calls, Under the Mayo, Conjure Line, Better Than Starlight, Podcast Now. Make sure you guys go follow each of these fantastic creators. And until next time, I'll see you guys all on the next episode of Nerd Space Games. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.